Welcome to Sunday Funday on Midnight's Edge After Dark. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well on this Father's Day, all you dads out there. We got Mark the Cyborg with us for a little bit, and we'll see who else shows up. How you doing, Mark? It's been a while.
Not too bad. Tom, how are you doing?
Hanging in there, doing the best I can with all this moving crap, but hopefully that'll be all organized pretty soon.
Yeah, no, we were just talking before the show.
Yeah.
I'm in kind of the same boat. I'm about to be moving too, and right now I'm taking a break from packing all of my worldly possessions outside of this room because I've made the goal to pack up my YouTube studio absolutely last so that I'm not in a totally empty room.
Yeah, I hear you. And Annabelle brings up The Last of Us too. We're going to talk a little bit about that with Mark since he's actually watched a playthrough. Now, I'm not a big gamer. If it doesn't have a Mario or a Pac-Man in it and I can't blow up some hookers, then I really don't care.
It appears that in Last of Us 2 you kill a lot of people. So I know post-apocalypse, so I'm willing to bet one or two of them probably did a bit of sex work. You know, you got to do what you got to do when you're in a zombie apocalypse. No judgment, but you know.
Yeah, outside of like sports games and Grand Theft Auto and stuff, though, I'm just like, okay. I mean, I've got a bunch of games. I've just hardly ever played them. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge gamer, but I like to play games, though. I mean, they're fun, but yeah. So if you're not wanting any spoilers for The Last of Us, Mark's going to give us his review of the story. So you might want to tune out for a little bit. Yeah, Jesse, I'll send you the link here. Hang on. So yeah, while you're telling us a little bit of your take on that, I'm going to send Jesse the link to the chat here. So go ahead and give us your first impression, Mark, of The Last of Us 2. Spoiler
warning. Yeah, so I like a disclosure, I have not played the game because I work for, if you guys don't know who I am, I work for Geeks and Gamers, and I'm one of the people who does most of my content on the Gaming with Geeks sub-channel because video games are kind of what I cover for the most part. And because of all the copyright strikes that we were receiving from Naughty Dog, I essentially decided to first not buy a new copy of the game or a digital copy of the game, and instead to just wait till I can get a used copy before I play it. And eventually kind of turned around to just, I'm not going to play this game at all. But I was a big fan of the original game, and despite knowing the kind of disappointing story choices from the leaks, I still sort of wanted to see in context all of those things and how they eventually played out, like in the context of how they'd unfold during the game. So I watched an 11-hour full playthrough of the game, mostly covering the story moments, covering some of the gameplay, but sort of condensing the edit down to just the essential things that you would need to know. They still showed a bunch of things like journal entries that you could read. And my overall impressions is that the performances and performance captures are fantastic. I think that all of the actors do a very good job with their roles. But similar to a lot of the recent sort of fan backlash events in pop culture over the last few years, like The Last Jedi and Game of Thrones Season 8, the way the story is told is not very good. And in the case of The Last of Us 2, I think I would go as far as to say it's emotionally manipulative. Like they try to make you feel a lot of things in the game, and in some cases they try very, very hard and kind of beat you over the head with some stuff. And on me, it did not particularly work, which I should clarify might be an effect of the fact that I was watching the game and not playing it, because I think that your connection to your player character in a video game can grow stronger as you're feeling like you have to guide a player character through different trials and tribulations. And as people are kind of mentioning Abby in the chat there, you do play as Abby for a significant chunk of the game. It looks like pretty much the entire back half of the game. And maybe if I was actually controlling her, I would have more sympathy for her and her story. And they did try very hard to make her a very sympathetic character. But the problem is they do it all after she violently, brutally, and slowly kills the protagonist of the first game in front of who you thought was going to be the main protagonist of the second game. And there is not really any way that I was able to forgive her for that and get on side for it. So I actually posted a meme recently that I made which sort of sums up my thoughts.
You can share it if you
And
want.
yeah, I was about to say I'm going to bring it up here. It's just on my Twitter. So I will
But
open
yeah,
this
I
link
mean,
and share the window. But this is
at
pretty
the
much
same time, the way you're explaining it is kind of like you're watching a movie, and if you're watching a movie and you can't sympathize with the character you're supposed to in the film, then that tells me there's bad writing.
yeah, and I
You
think
know.
that's sort of where I landed on it. And yeah, so like I said, I'm just gonna say it. If you get to the end of The Last of Us 2 and you don't want Abby dead, you're easily manipulated. And then, like it's all I could think at the end of it. I was like, I get that they want me to be in this like last boss fight essentially against Abby, which it looks kind of like it plays more like a quick time event than anything else. That's more of a gameplay criticism, but I wasn't actually playing it. But all I could think was like, yeah, I still want her dead. Like I was like, I don't know why you think that having her, basically you play as her for the same 3 days that you're playing as Ellie hunting Abby down. And in that time, she saves 2 teenagers from like this crazy religious cult and has an affair with her ex-boyfriend who now has a new girlfriend that's pregnant. So I'm like, I don't
So yeah,
understand how
she's cheating. She's cheating on.
I
Yeah,
was like, I don't understand how they thought that her saving 2 teenagers from a very horrible situation on 2 ends of it too. She saves them both from the cult that they're running from, and then again from her people who are like enemies of that cult because they were members of the cult. A thing happens that makes them have to leave, and she saves them both from both sides. So you get kind of on side with Lev, who's like kind of the main one of these 2 teenagers, and you don't want Lev to die. So like you're happy that Abby has saved him, but it's also like, well, Abby's still the person who killed Joel. And Joel's the person that I cared about more than anyone. And like I played an entire game playing as him, loving Ellie like a daughter because the entire first game is sort of a surrogate father relationship that develops over the course of the game. And Abby brutally murders Joel in front of Ellie. So I'm like, 3 days of her like being a good person isn't enough to make me be like, oh, okay, it's fine that you killed Joel. Like I don't know. So I wasn't thrilled with the story. Again, I was coming at it from a place of separation from the medium because as Tom was bringing up, I did watch it like a movie, and Last of Us is a game that you very much can watch like a movie and get most of the effect of it. But games do have sort of a different way of developing attachment between the audience, so like the player, and the actual story itself. And I did not get the full effect of that, and that may be coloring my impression of it a little bit. So I figure I'll just lay my possible biases out on the table. Also, the company was basically trying to take down the channel that I work for, so I'm sort of pissed at them also, which is why I didn't buy the game. But overall, I don't like it. I don't like the story at all. I think that it was poorly done and goes for a lot of cheap shots. As far as Selwyn, though, Abby's character is not trans. She's just she's a really jacked woman. She they basically make it seem that Joel killed her father in the first game. So essentially, from that point to when the second game starts, they make it that her motivation was just she wants to turn herself into a killing machine and like is just basically pumping iron every day and becoming as strong as she possibly can. And Lev, though, is trans. The teenage boy that she saves was born a girl and comes out as trans essentially by she doesn't really state that. She just shaves her head and decides to start living like a boy, and then her like crazy religious cult that she lives with decides that they need her dead, and she escapes, and then Abby helps her. But I honestly didn't think that the identity politics stuff was really, I honestly don't think it really hurt the story at all. That wasn't really the issue I had with it. It's fine that you have a story about a trans character, and it's a side character too, so it doesn't really overwhelm the story at all. But ultimately it's a story about like a person that came from a religious cult, like little community in the post-apocalypse, that did something that they don't like, and that cult then wants him dead. It doesn't really go any further than that. And Ellie being a lesbian, that was a thing that like that was in the original game, like it was in the DLC Left Behind, and it doesn't really affect the story at all. Like it's part of the story, but I don't think it it doesn't really beat you over the head with it. I think the more severely negative decisions made were just the story choices, what they do with the old characters. How I think I saw someone saying, yeah, like Trey Courtney saying they make Ellie unlikable. I think they try to, and my whole thing is like, but I know Ellie. Like,
Right.
I played the original Last of Us game more than twice, actually. I think I played it twice on PS3 and then again when it came out on PS4, and I liked it a lot. So like you have to do a lot more than you did to get me to think, oh, Ellie's a bad person now. I'm like, no, like
Well, this reminds me of Evan Almighty. Do you remember that movie?
I did not see Evan Almighty.
Okay, but you've seen Bruce Almighty, and you know, and Evan is the antagonist in Bruce, and then they use him as the protagonist in Evan Almighty. Like the character changes, the shift is so different. It's like they're not even the same character. It's kind of like what it feels like you're explaining to me here. It's like they tried to take a character that was a side character, or not even, or not really a protagonist or antagonist per se, and then try and turn him into a protagonist. It just doesn't work. I mean, you got to have something there for it to hang it up on. And I that's what I keep hearing is it's not even, and that's the worst part is it doesn't even sound like the politics got that involved, but yet they allowed that to cloud everything instead of just, like we've all said, if they would have just kept their mouth shuts, let the news cycle take its course, you guys would have been done talking about this in a day.
Yeah. Like absolutely.
Been,
like a bunch of people would have been talking about how bad the story sounds like it's going to be. If they didn't copyright strike Gaming with Geeks, I would have still bought the game. I would have still played it. I would have probably been more on board with the story because I would be going through it as the player characters, right. Experiencing the story more in the way it was intended. And I would have made a video review of it and been as fair as I possibly could be. Because every game I tackle, I try to just be objective. I don't say, oh, well, this company doesn't like my channel that I work for, so I'm going to give it a bad review. Like, I think that would hurt my integrity as a person who covers video games. But
right.
I don't know. But again, it wasn't the trans character. It wasn't the lesbian characters. It was just the events of the actual story that were the problem. It right. Nothing at all to do with anyone's gender or sexual identity. Yet most of the people who say that we're hating on the game will just be like, oh yeah, they're just homophobic, transphobic bigots. And I'm like, no, like it's not it.
And then we have, and then you have the same problem here. It sounds like where when they had, The Last Jedi was being review bombed by Russian bots. Mm-hmm. They're trying to use the same thing here. Like Annabelle brings up here. I heard that they're saying, oh, The Last of Us is being review bombed. It's like maybe people just didn't like the story
on Metacritic, but
okay. Well, the same thing with Star Wars, though. Okay, if that could be the case, but that doesn't mean that there isn't just as many people on the other end doing it the other way. Because that was the argument I made when Star Wars came out. Yeah,
there's not just as many because the Metacritic user rating is at like 3.4. But the thing is, the people who are passionate will just be giving it 10s. And the people who are passionate about disliking it will just be giving it.
But that's what I'm seeing is it still doesn't matter. Is those two are canceling each other out. The real people out there that are actually voting on it, that I trust that score just like I trust the Last Jedi score from people. That's my point. You can have as many people upvoting and downvoting as you want. Chances are there's still that small minimum in each group that are doing that are probably canceling each other out. People are not liking the game, period. And I'm getting that from you, and you're even trying to be fair to it and give it a chance, it sounds like.
And again, I'm mostly trying to be fair in the sense that I know I did not play the game, and I don't want to make it sound like I have played the game and I'm just hating on it, but I watched every second of the story beats and a good chunk of the gameplay too. Like I watched 11 hours worth of the game. And it was sort of played out almost like I was watching I imagine the HBO Last of Us series that they're making is probably going to play out not too differently from what I just watched because it was about the same length as a season of like an HBO show. And I mean, the moment to moment things which were occurring were fine, but the overall story choices and character decisions were just like, they were just bad. They were poorly done. And I wish that didn't happen because I really did like the first game. And there was a lot of cool things they could have done exploring those characters. There was also a lot of cool things they could have done if they just left Joel and Ellie out of the second game entirely and told a new story about new characters. it kind of seemed like that's what they wanted to do because there was a lot of focus on Abby and Lev. And I think if they just made a game about those two characters, gave them a different set of circumstances in which they could move through a story of their own, I think honestly people will probably like those characters a lot more than they do. But they felt like they had to tie it into the original game and sacrificed literally one of the main characters of the original game in order to do it.
Well, and I'm kind of with the Sentinel Heel. I do kind of think it's overrated to a point, but I also didn't play through the whole game, so I can't really say that. I just didn't get involved in it, invested in it, didn't really do anything for me. I don't mind that kind of game. It just, I don't know. I guess I was zombied out at that point on top of, I mean, like I said, I like more free roam in my game a little bit, especially nowadays when we've got, you know, so many things we can do compared to what we used to be able to do. Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
Hey, homie.
Jesse, if you haven't met Mark, this is Jesse. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, Rao.
So, yeah, we're talking a little bit of Last of Us 2. I doubt you've played it yet, but...
No, I'm not going to pick that one up.
I didn't think so. I know you well enough to know you're probably just like, nope, I'm not going to deal with that. So I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
I think a bigger story, though, is a much more popular selling game, GTA. Did you see what happened?
No.
With the PlayStation 5 reveal? They had Rockstar there, and everybody was like, oh, are they going to do GTA 6? Are they going to do 6? No, they released a trailer for GTA 5 on PS5.
Oh, yeah, they did the same thing for PS4, though, didn't they? Didn't they re-release PS...
Yeah, man. This game was from 2013, man.
Yeah, same year
3, 4, and 5.
Last of Us came out is when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out.
It's like, if they're making us wait, the big thing is that they were saying 2 points. One, if they were going to announce GTA 6, they figured that would probably overshadow the entire announcement of the PlayStation 5, which it would. But they're saying that there possibly might be additional content for buying it on PS5, like possibly a map expansion. Now, let's say there is no GTA 6. Let's say that the real plan is to just keep building off of GTA 5 and adding cities. That'd be cool.
Well, I figured that, or they're just going to have all the stuff that was added to the game after the fact. But, well, with like GTA 5, didn't they want to wait a year or two for the technology to kind of catch up so they could properly do a decent GTA 5 anyway? That wasn't, so I'm not expecting a GTA 6 for another year or two at least.
Yeah, that's why they got screwed on the transition from. They made a ton of money on the transition from the 3 to the 4, but they had to design a game for PS3 and then port it over to 4 and try to fix stuff up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if now they're just porting it over to the 5 or if they just redid the whole thing so that it could be.
No, it'll be used. A port, and just the PS4, Xbox One version, in addition to the Series X and PS5 versions, they're just ports of the PC version essentially. The version that can be scaled up and down because not everyone has the same specs of PC, so you need to be able to run it at different settings. So essentially, they just take the PC version, program it to run with the operating system of either Xbox One or PS4, and then figure out the settings at which it runs the way they want it to run. I find often when they do those ports, they tend to get things running at 30 frames a second on console, which, as everyone who has ever watched my content knows, bothers me. But for Grand Theft Auto, they did get it running at 60.
Yeah, because you really want to have 60 because the debate is around 80 to 100, or whether you and I could see one card amongst 80 in a second.
You sort of can feel it more than you can see it at higher frame rates, but the issue with higher frame rates on consoles is that most televisions only refresh at 60 hertz. So 60 frames a second is not the fastest your eye can see, it's the fastest your TV can display.
Exactly.
The things that display faster are gaming monitors, which they are starting to do what are called big format gaming displays, BFGDs.
I saw a big gaming monitor the other day. It was legit like a 32-inch TV, but it was
exactly. Yeah. Oh, well, they have even bigger ones, like up to like 55 inches. So flat out, just be like, this is your TV, but it's a gaming monitor as far as the technology goes. The more common thing though is VR headsets, because if a VR game is running at less than 90 frames a second, or it's refreshing at less than 90 hertz, it causes severe motion sickness. So VR is kind of the thing that's been pushing consoles, or at least PlayStation, closer towards, hey, let's get things running at higher frame rates. But
there was a few games on the VR that I did not like for that reason. Rosetta $72 says you're amazing. I can't wait to see you again. That's right. I'm going to see you this week. You're going to bring me that book that you were telling me about. So hopefully I can catch you on Tuesday and have some lunch and stuff and catch up. But yeah, I mean, that's as far as GTA thing goes, I don't think we're going to get an announcement until next year. And then just like the last game, it's going to take how many years for the game to actually come out?
I think we're
pushing it back, pushing it back. Yeah.
I think we're going to see PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of both GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 before they ever even mention Grand Theft Auto 6 in any official terms. Because they know that it'll take them a while, and they know that it doesn't. They could announce it the day before it comes out, and it will still break every record you could possibly break. Like Rockstar, they don't really need to do all that much, and I think if anything, companies like Bethesda and the way they announced Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are realizing that maybe when you announce something like 5-6 years before it's actually going to come out, you're just going to piss your audience off more than you're going to get them excited. Because there was a pretty famous thing with the president, or he might just be the VP of Marvel. The guy from Bethesda, though, on Twitter was saying, like, yeah, like this game's like several years out. We haven't even shown you Starfield yet. Stop asking us about Elder Scrolls 6. And everyone was like, you already announced it. What, you're telling us to now stop asking about a game that you announced at an E3 show? Come on.
That's like that. That's what reminds me of Grand Theft Auto. How you doing, Stieg?
Hey, Stieg, how's it going?
Just, finished stuffing my face with pizza.
Nothing wrong with that, dude.
Oh, well, my growing stomach says otherwise, but
I'm in a
social distancing has been rough on me.
I live outside a military base. Like I'm in the Army. That's my day job. And our gym that's on our base has been closed since March. I have not been this fat in a very long time because I just have no ability to like lift heavy weights. Which
wait. You're in the Army and they closed the gym?
Yeah. They made the gym on my base has been closed for 3 months now, 4 months. So like there's the track outside and there's like some like pull-up bars and things like that. There's a few things you could do with the little like
you gotta go old school like Rocky.
Kind of, yeah. Like I mean, I have a little pull-up bar here and some dumbbells, but I don't have like a bench with like plates and everything, and or like a bar for deadlifts, and there's all the stuff that I would normally do to stay in shape. I haven't been doing for months now, and I've got this big beer gut. It's like disaster. That's why I'm wearing like a dark sweater. I want you guys to see how fat I am.
You think they would at least schedule, like, you know, you can't have this many dudes going to the gym.
Yeah, well, I'm moving to a new base soon. That's why I'm probably gonna have to take off here soon because I'm packing up my whole house and moving to an apartment about 400 kilometers away. And so hopefully the new base that I'm going to is has a functional gym. And yes, Captain Robert April, in the Canadian military, we can now have a beard. In fact, the same month, it was October 2018, we got the ability to buy and smoke weed, grow beards, and buy our own boots and claim them for the money back. So we don't have to use like issue boots. It was a pretty good month.
You got some good stuff.
Indeed. Yeah, most people that were reg force, like full-time military, would buy their own boots anyways. But being able to know that you can buy your own boots and get the money back instead of using the sort of crappy boots they were issuing us was pretty good.
So as a military man, what is the best boot?
I used to really like Rockies, like Rocky, just the singular spelling of Rocky, ROCKY, but Rockies isn't like the brand. But I actually like now I'm serving in the military as an amputee, so I only have one leg. So right now the boot that I'm wearing doesn't particularly matter. I only have 1 foot that really needs to use it, so I just use the Terra ones that they issue.
Would you be open to that transhumanism stuff where they basically give you a leg that functions along with your muscles?
Yeah, no, that would be pretty cool. There are battery powered legs that like run off a microchip and actually like give you propulsion with like a motor. And I could get one of those, but it's sort of debatable how much of a difference they make and what situations they're better for. Because A, you have to have batteries charged all the time. B, there's certain type of terrain that they're not as good for. So right now I have a carbon fiber foot that just kind of goes based on like recoil and flexion to propel me forward. But my toe is broken, so I'm actually waiting on a new foot right now.
You ever think about a peg leg just because it looks badass?
Actually, one of the first gifts anyone ever got me was like a little pirate costume set, but no, I've never actually worn it.
Hell yeah! See, because with a peg leg, you could hide a sword in it.
Yeah,
just kick people with a sword.
Well, here I'll share it on the screen. My foot as it currently is, because actually I was just at prosthetics about a week ago. And that's when I found out that my foot's been broken and my toe has been broken and possibly has been for a very long time. So there, I just shared it. That's what my foot currently looks like. There is like a little carbon fiber blade in my toe. It's being held together with like a plastic foot shell. So that's just what's inside the part that actually looks like a foot normally, but it's a little bit weird. Anyways, we didn't come here to talk about my feet.
I think it's interesting. Because it's like originally they had these things. Like the thing I saw, this guy was mountain climbing. He had a terrible accident. He fell down to the rocks below in the water, and eventually he came back and climbed the same mountain with his new leg.
Yeah, it's Hugh Hare. I know the guy. He's an MIT engineer. Cool.
Yeah, so
cool
like
stuff.
Originally they started putting like things like right on the brain. But apparently, like Fed was saying the other day, they got ones now that they just have to put them on the skin.
Yeah, it's a muscle twitch that like, because as your nerves trigger, like your muscles will kind of like twitch a little bit, and then that will then push your foot forward. But mine is just that non-powered. I do have a couple battery powered ones that are like my running leg and my swimming leg, but the only thing the battery does is control the vacuum for the actual seal. Yeah, it's not so bad. But yes, that Mark the Cyborg is like it's not an accident, but that's my name. That's it is
so like
to my leg.
Is the military working on like, like a badass big metal boot version of prosthetic legs?
I don't know. Hopefully, I keep on
like
telling them every time
movies.
I talk to one of like our biomedical engineers, I say, "Hey guys, if you need any test subjects, you're doing any like Iron Man armor stuff, let me know."
Just imagine like
I know a guy
Iron Man leg that was armored and shit, but it wasn't too heavy. Like make it out of titanium or something.
Yeah,
or something a little lighter.
Well, the idea is that even if
they
become heavy, the exoskeletons kind of go around and make it so that you can bear all that weight and not really feel it. But it's cool stuff. The Hulk, HULC. If anyone wants to like YouTube search the HULC exoskeleton, it's cool stuff.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, we'll search that actually. Where's a pen? It's a Hulk.
HULC exoskeleton. I think it was Lockheed Martin that was working on that. I don't know exactly. It's American stuff. But,
Lockheed Martin's rolling deep in all the Google tech. They're like America's Lucius Fox. But yeah, I'll definitely look that up later. Yeah, because eventually it always goes around when we always do more transhumanism shows. And the idea of eventually people are going to live forever because of all this stuff.
Yeah, it could be pretty cool. That's speaking going back to my area of expertise, video games. That's what everyone's looking forward to for Cyberpunk, which is now coming out in November.
Pretty game.
Tom is not being neglected. Drake 6. Hey Tom, how's it going?
I can't believe that wasn't a PS5 game.
Sorry, which one?
I can't believe that wasn't just held back and released as a PS5.
It's going to be on both, and they announced recently that if you get the PS4 version, you get a free upgrade to the PS5 version. So if you want to start playing it on PS4, you'll get the PS5 version for free whenever you upgrade. Same with Xbox.
Yeah, but does that mean that it was designed on PS5 and they dumbed it down for 4, or does that?
Knowing CD Projekt Red, they designed it for PC and they were just trying to shoehorn it onto PS4 and Xbox One. I imagine it will run significantly better on the new consoles. They also made Witcher 3. And it's not a 100% because I know there's a lot of console players who really love The Witcher 3, but I find every single time I've ever asked anyone who says they did not like Witcher 3, I will ask, what did they not like about it? They'll say the combat felt too clunky, and then I'll say, did you play it on console? And the answer is 100% yes. because I think that game was just designed to be played at 60 frames a second on PC. They tried to get it onto consoles, and it mostly worked, and some people think it's fine, but lots of people are just like, yeah, the Witcher 3 has bad combat. I don't like the game. And I'm like, no, it's such a good game. Play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that game was
Stieg,
perfect.
so have you played it, Stieg?
The Witcher 3? From start to finish, about 8 times.
Oh, yeah. Man of culture, I see.
Yeah, beaten the the second one a couple of times too.
Yeah, the second one, actually, I played on consoles. I played it on Xbox 360.
Yeah. The graphics in it are still great. Really.
Mm-hmm. CD Projekt Red is one heck of a developer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've destroyed the entire podcast.
No, I was trying to let Stieg talk about the game, but I think that's all he had to say. Like I said,
I get to the point fast.
like I was saying in the intro, I mean, I'm not that big of a gamer. I got a bunch of games. I just don't ever have time to play them. Like I got a buttload of PS4 games, and the only ones I've gotten to play so far is that Godzilla game.
Go Godzilla. Is it any good?
It's all right. It's just like a fighting game. You fight a bunch of monsters. A couple of VR games, but nothing really great. That I had the Rogue One part of
VR. Is it decent?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm assuming that the next generation is going to be much better, and I've heard Oculus Rift is probably better than what the PS one is. But I like it all right. I mean, I have a few complaints, but
I was actually just today playing the Iron Man VR demo for PSVR to get some footage for my July new release video, and I recommend it. It's a free demo, and it's quite good.
I'll have
The
to check it
controls
out.
are really interesting.
Yeah, I don't have it hooked up right now because of everything, but I should get it hooked up.
See, I was just not going to buy it because that's the type of thing that they've been promising us since the Nintendo Power Glove, and fool me once.
Oh, it works.
Oh yeah, it's different league.
It
Like,
works.
even
It's
PSVR
just-
is like it's quite good. And chances are that there are a lot of people who like bought one thinking it was going to be a lot crazier than it was. And the good news as far as that goes is you can probably find them used pretty cheap.
See, that's
But,
where I'm at. That's where I'm just like, I'll wait for the next one,
Mhm,
wait for the next gen version.
Well, I think though that the headsets themselves, at least PlayStation was saying that the PS5 will support the PSVR headset, like the current one.
Nice.
They'll probably release a new one too, but
I
I
would
don't
want
think
a
they
new
want to. I don't think they want to leave people high and dry that bought in on the original headset.
And everything
Well,
that's sorry, Tom.
I was to say my two complaints with the original headset are just that when you plug it in, the sound only comes through stereo through either the speakers in the headset or it comes through your stereo, but it just comes through the two channels instead of full surround sound. And then the other problem I have with it is I feel like they could get a lot more pixels or whatever into the viewing area because you can see the little square pixels.
Yeah, there's a lot of aliasing on PSVR.
Like, I mean, that's the only downside. But otherwise, once you get into some of the immersive games, they're really good. Some of them made me sick, though. Like one of the best ones, though, that was on Battlegrounds or whatever, the first Star Wars, the one that just, not the newer one.
The first Battlefront.
Yeah, they had a Rogue One VR X-Wing section. And it was kind of fun. It was cool to be able to go out in like an X-Wing and just shoot and play like that.
Yeah,
But
that's actually why I'm interested in the new Star Wars game, Squadrons, because apparently it's 100% like front to back, fully playable in VR. And the VR mode in Battlefront 1 was like really solid. So I was like, this could actually
that was
be
my
okay.
thing. It's like, yeah, once I can do like GTA in VR, nobody will ever know where I'm at.
Yeah. Half-Life Alyx was really solid. I've got, in addition to a PSVR, I've got a Valve Index, which is a much more high quality like PC VR headset.
Yeah.
And the new Half-Life game was crazy. It was really, really good.
I haven't played that one.
There's a playthrough of it on my channel. So if you guys go to youtube.com/markthecyborg and look at my live stream playlist, then basically the whole game's there. I have
like the Star Trek one. I've did the Batman one. The Batman one, my only complaint was it was just too short, and the whole moving around. You just kind of warp
teleports.
Yeah.
Do you have a mod in the house? Because if he drops it, I could sub.
Oh, I don't think. Am I a mod on this channel?
Should be, if not. I dropped the link earlier, but
hold on 1 sec. I will signed in with Gaming with Geeks, so I want to switch over to me.
Say if you're not, I'll make you one. I'd make Gaming with Geeks one too. So,
could you imagine?
Okay, I am a mod.
If you're flying through the sky in a Hydra or something, and somebody comes after you, and it's about to blow, and you eject, and then you're skydiving all of a sudden, and you land on a building, and you're still shooting at people, and oh my god, I couldn't imagine how anything could even process that enough to fool that many people at once at a lobby.
Oh, you'd be surprised how, even though it doesn't look that realistic sometimes as far as the graphics, how you can get how that VR manipulates your brain and your body. And you feel the movement. Like one time when I played that Star Wars game, I got sick just from flying around too chaotically. And there was a couple games where I would get sick just from the motion of it, because it was like Mark was saying earlier in the show, the better frame rate, the less chance you're going to get of being sick. But there was a couple games where they were too much.
Part of it is also what you're doing in real life. So even playing Half-Life Alyx, I found that the best way for me to be able to play it with pushing the left stick on because actually the index controllers, they kind of grip around your hands. In fact, I can go grab them in a minute, but you have analog sticks on them, and you can walk either by doing the teleports that you could do in the Batman game, or you can just push the stick forward and walk the way you would in a first-person shooter. And when you're moving forward and making it feel like your brain is actually going forward, but your actual body isn't moving, it can be kind of disorienting.
Yes.
And I found that one way to fix that was I just got like a little stool, like a stool with wheels on it, that I just put kind of under my butt so that I could like kind of sit down and be grounded so that I know exactly where the ground is. And then if I needed to like walk around within the space, I could just roll my chair around. And because the stool made it pretty high up, I was almost standing anyways. And that made it pretty good. And it made it so that during some of the gunfights, I could just like get off the stool, like move around and duck, dodge, shoot, get behind cover. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, okay, I guess there's a third complaint. The line of sight with the actual system is you got to be right in the right spots, because if you go out of the zone, and then it won't find you.
That is because the PSVR functions with basically there's lights on the PSVR helmet, and it's just a normal webcam essentially that is targeting how far those lights are away. Yeah. So as you get closer, the light gets bigger, and as you get further away, the light gets smaller, and that's what's tracking your position on PSVR. With the Valve headset as well as the HTC Vive, there's little like sensors that are up on kind of high up on my walls pointing down that are creating like a big box in the room that I'm in. And they're using like infrared sensors all around me to figure out exactly where I am. Yeah, so I can kind of get up and walk around my room and still like exist within the VR space. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes the PS one a little more limited, unfortunately. Yeah, Culture Casino.
Actually, people are going to have a dedicated room in their house for a holodeck.
I mean, it's arguably what I have here right now. The reason why, like the new place I'm moving to, my girlfriend and I just like I have a house right now that I'm selling because I live in like a tiny middle of nowhere military town. But I'm moving much closer to Toronto, so like property values are a lot more expensive. So we're just moving into a 2-bedroom apartment, and because she's so supportive, the master bedroom is going to be my like YouTube office, and we're putting our bed in the spare bedroom.
Culture Casino said $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much. Christina Nardone also said $10. Thank you so much. I'm definitely saving my money towards Cyberpunk 2077 instead.
Good choice.
November can't come soon enough. I've heard a lot of people say that actually. That
in fact, right that is a Cyberpunk 2077 poster. It's a bunch of EMTs, like medics, that are fixing a cyborg person.
But as far as having a room, Jesse, I mean, my suggestion is at least get an area where you got a good 10 feet in radius around you, because it's worse than the Wii. You're knocking shit over, you're running into shit because you're moving around and stuff. And like
the VR games that function well in a small space though are stuff like the Star Wars game or Resident Evil 7, which it blows my mind that you can't play Resident Evil 7 on VR on PC. You can only play it on PSVR, but because in that game you're just sitting and playing with a controller, and you aim your gun and look around with the headset. so your actual like target is where you're looking, and it's really good, and it's extremely scary. Like moving through Resident Evil 7 in VR was really nuts, but it's a game that plays quite well just sitting down in one spot with a controller.
Have you ever played any VR stuff, Steek?
No, I'm actually more of a retro gamer, to be honest. I do play some new games, but as a whole, I'll play games that are 20 years old. Just
Yeah.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm more of a retro gamer a lot of times. I will play a lot of new games, but not often.
X-Ray Girl in the chat is my girlfriend, and she's actually an incredible. She's an incredible Beat Saber player as well.
Move in with me. Is that what? There you go. Culture Casino sent $2. My Vive space is 14 by 14 minimum when set up. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying to Jesse, you want to kind of give yourself some space because you'll knock shit over and run into things otherwise. And yeah,
14 by 14, it will still measure. It will still read you all in that area.
Sounds like it. I mean, like I said, I only have the PS4 one, and as long as you stay within the vicinity, like Mark was saying, you're fine. I didn't have any problems with like the Star Wars game or any of those.
I was like, I don't think I have 14 by 14 even in here, but the more space you have, the better. I don't think I've ever seen. I guess there's probably a space that's too big, but anywhere within a house, I'm sure, as long as you. I think it's just if you have the sensors, if they can see each other, that's all you really need.
Right, that's kind of the whole point.
So you can be playing this game and just run full force into a table, is what you're telling me.
Yes, there's like a grid that comes up though that you set up when you set up your play space by like drawing with the wand like your available space around the room. And when you get too close to an object or a wall, like a grid will come up so that you can see how far exactly you are away from stuff. Oh. So theoretically though, if you put on a mod that like turned off chaperone mode, yeah, you could run full force into a wall. That's why you don't turn off chaperone mode. Leave it on.
Good advice. Don't want to knock over the bonk piece.
Indeed.
So does that mean that people are actually going to be like searching around their own rooms, just looking for their stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I find that I'll keep the headset a little bit further away from my nose so that I can look down and then see the world, like just with my eyes. Because
that doesn't mess up your head.
No, not really. Because as long as you're like looking straight with your eyes, you're seeing the virtual world. But if you look down with your eyes, not your head, if you look down with your head, you're still seeing the virtual world. But if you just like dart your eyes down, I like kind of being able to see the floor and like so that I can just just look up like that and then look down and be like, okay, my desk is over there.
Now, like the PS one, that really covers all your shit up. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so like you feel like you're in a dark room after you put it on, and then when everything kind of just lights up around you, it's really immersive. Yeah, it's just not that high quality. Like I was saying, like you can still see, they need some better screens in the headset that on the PS one. That's my.
Do you think eventually it's going to be brought into the phase where you actually have like an omnidirectional pad under you?
Those exist. They're expensive, and support in games is iffy. And I think the biggest thing is those right now they take up a lot of space. And
how big are they? Like 4 foot by 4 foot or something?
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. But they're like clunky looking. Like they're the kind of things that you'd see. And if you go, actually, I was in Austin, Texas last July and went to a Dave & Buster's, and they have like a kind of VR arcade area where they have HTC Vibes, which are the Culture Casino's headset, and basically the same technology as the one I use, and omnidirectional treadmill so that you can play a game that way where you're actually just running around. I didn't get a chance to do it because we were a bit short on time, but it did look pretty interesting. People seem to be having fun. They were playing, I think, Arizona Sunshine, which is a zombie survival game.
Cool. Very nice.
Maybe someday, though.
Dave & Buster's, I'm glad you brought that up because with the Star Wars flying game before, Dave & Buster's has this weird pod game where you get inside of it. You seen that one?
Yeah, that I actually did play.
That's funny.
It was good.
But that feels like that feels more like a VR experience, even though you can still tell that you're in a pod playing a game.
Yeah, it's still a 2D screen, but because it kind of like wraps around you a bit, it's very immersive. The cool thing about VR is because it's 2 individual screens, one for each eye, is you really get a sense of depth and 3D objects look 3D.
Do you actually have peripheral vision?
That's the thing. It's a bit limited. It kind of feels like you're wearing a scuba mask.
Because like going back to GTA again, because I always do. If you go into first person on GTA, it's terrible because it's horse.
The field of view is very low. Yeah,
you could be standing right next to me, swinging a hammer at me. I won't see you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of games have their VR games have their field of view specifically designed around the game. But what's neat about it is even though you do have kind of vision like this, it's not that bad. But it would be kind of like that. So like if you just looked your eyes to the left or right, you would be seeing like black bars because you're not then looking at the actual lenses. But because you can just turn your head and then see everything that was over there, and you don't have to like control it with an analog stick and then turn back. It's just you literally go like that. You don't really ever feel like you are having trouble with your situational awareness in VR. I find, at least. I mean, different people I'm sure will have different reactions to it.
Yeah,
but read by nature to play VR.
Microseconds. You're still forced to waste those microseconds over accentuating all of your movements.
Yeah, and there is one VR headset. I think it's called like the Pixmax or something. That it's like really big. Like the screen kind of wraps around like that, and it's like an 8K headset, and it's apparently got the best field of view. It's like 210 degrees, I think, but most of them are like 160 degrees, 140 degrees, something like that. So it's like not quite 180, but almost.
Right. Well, we got a new video from Jeff over at World Class Bullshitters. Turns out stores are refusing to take back The Last of Us after launch day. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, I think that's in Australia.
Yeah, let's check out a little bit of the video here.
Every day, more news keeps coming out, but this story is my absolute favorite. JB Hi-Fi, Australia's biggest video game retailer, has allegedly stopped allowing dissatisfied customers from returning their copies of The Last of Us 2. I have never heard of something like this before. According to a story over on Sausage Roll, people are having a difficult time playing through The Last of Us 2 due to some of its graphic and controversial scenes, and are reportedly returning the game en masse. There are some highly controversial and graphic elements of Naughty Dog's new AAA title, The Last of Us Part 2, and a lot of people are struggling through the game after coming face-to-face with some of its many challenging moments. Earlier this year, Naughty Dog's president himself, Neil Druckmann, warned people that not everybody is going to like the direction that The Last of Us Part 2 is going. And that seems to be evident right now with the amount of returns some Australian retailers are receiving. Sony and Naughty Dog copped it hard when one of the game's biggest plot devices was spoiled in a massive...
All right, so I think he's just going to get into the other parts here. But so, Mark, you already knew about this. What's your take on this?
I think that it is probably a bit of a coincidence because I know that a lot of places that accept secondhand goods, not just video game stores, have been suspending accepting items because of like the COVID pandemic, and that makes some sense because you are then like accepting objects from strangers.
Right.
At the same time, you could make the argument that like, well, that means you shouldn't be buying anything from anyone either.
Right.
Because like including stores where there's people that go up and like pick up a can of beans and then put it back on the shelf.
And how do you know who touched it before you did? And,
exactly. Yeah. But
somebody could have looked at the game and I don't think I'm going to get it and put it back.
I do think a lot of people will be returning this game though, like, or not returning necessarily, but selling it as pre-owned. And I think it will largely be because they're disappointed by the story and early, because honestly, like, I'm not really big on trading in games because, especially with going to a place like GameStop or EB Games in Canada, you don't really get much for the trade-in. So if you're ever going to trade your video games, if you buy physical games, sell them just on Facebook Marketplace or something, or like ask a friend if they want the game, because you're going to end up getting more than you will from like a big chain like that. But I don't know. Like I don't know anything about JB Hi-Fi or what their normal sort of policies are and which games they accept trade-ins on and what kind of value they give. So I don't know enough about the story to really comment on it in depth.
Right. Now, most stores around here won't take any media that's open, period. They'll let you exchange it for the same thing. But
go down to the pawn shop and get $1 disc because that's all they're going to give you.
Yeah, because about 9.9 times out of 10, they're not going to exchange it for something else or give you your money back if it's opened, just because you're dissatisfied with it.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, this headline does say trade-ins, not actual
returns.
Returns.
Yeah.
So what that's telling me is like I'm assuming this is like the equivalent of their GameStop up here. That would be like, or up there, that'd be like if GameStop here just said we're not going to take any trade-ins on Last of Us 2. And that's a brand new game.
That's just saying we got too many. They'll end up in a dumpster. We can't move them.
Exactly. Well, that's a bad, and especially for a brand new game.
Yeah.
Because their resale value to these stores is high, and they don't, like you guys were just saying, they don't give you dick for them. They literally don't give you jack squat. Like if I walked in right now with a brand new game,
worse.
What's that?
GameStop. You want to know what they just did to me?
What?
I had pre-ordered 2 physical copies of Predator Hunting Grounds, one for myself, one for my son, so we could play together. So they finally reopened the GameStop stores, and I go to the mall where I got it, and they're closed. So there's a sign on the door that says go to the other location. I go to the other location. They're like, well, we don't have it here. I'm like, well, what happened to all the merchandise from that store? Because my game was shipped to that store. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, can I get my money back? He's like, well, we can't handle that from here. You have to wait for them to open back up. Then I said, well, can I, get a store credit instead? They're like, I still can't do that. So I'm like, so you're just going to fuck me out of $80? He's like, I don't know.
But, yeah, that's typical GameStop.
Yeah, I felt like just pull a little soy boy ass over the counter and giving him like the Bane versus 60s Robin beatdown.
Now, like Zach Z says here, GameStop stores will not accept a game unless it's still sealed. Here's the catch. All GameStop stores I've ever gone to, even if you buy a brand new game, they don't give it to you sealed.
No, they don't. They have it open with them in little fucking...
Hey, I used to work at one, and it's like one copy that they use is like the display copy, but that's known as the gutted one. But I always thought that was a terrible system. And I'd be like, yo, like there's nothing really stopping us from just getting a high quality printout of the slipcase, getting a blank case and putting that out. We don't have to open one of the games. But,
it's stupid. And that's what they do.
Like at this point, they're essentially half the stores like Funko Pops anyways. Like,
and there's this trade-in program they got with phones on it. They're going down fast. Now, Steve, is there kind of an equivalent to a GameStop over where you're at, like that sells just games and stuff?
I wouldn't have stock on GameStop. I wouldn't even touch it. You can't even like day trade that shit to make a penny.
No, but yeah, I'm curious, like over in Norway, is there anything like that over there?
Yeah, we have GameStops and stuff in the...
Oh, you actually have the brand GameStop over there?
Yeah, but only in the biggest cities. In the city I live, you have to buy game at electronic stores and shit like that if you're lucky. Other than that, you have to order online.
I'm all about digital copies anyways. So like the only transaction I've done with GameStop anytime recently is I pre-ordered a collector's edition of Cyberpunk just because I was that excited for it on Xbox One, and I was just going to give away the Xbox One copy, like the physical one. I just wanted like the statue and things, and they've delayed the game so many times that now I'm going to have it pre-ordered at a GameStop in a city that I don't live anywhere near.
Great. Sounds great.
So yeah. I'll have to see how that goes, but I might need to like call them and be like, hey, can you like maybe ship my copy? Or I have the PC version pre-ordered on GOG though, so like it's not even going to be the one that I'll play. It's just I got it for the goodies.
I like Annabelle that GameStop is going out of business, so they'll go scumbag mode. I fully agree with that. But I like what Mark just brought up about the downloadable games, because that's a big thing. Like the PlayStation 5, there's 2 versions of it. The 2 versions are actually one with a disc drive and one without one. I'm thinking of just getting the ones without one, because a lot of these games, you download the game right off the PlayStation Store, and then when you get the DLCs, they go onto it. But I've had it with ESO where I had the disc of ESO and it wouldn't add DLC onto it. I had to go buy the game digitally to get my DLC content.
I can explain why that happens, because essentially all you're doing with a physical copy of a modern video game, and by that I don't necessarily mean Switch, actually I just mean PS4 and Xbox One, and going forward very likely Series X and the physical version of PS5. The disc, all it is a little token that says to their servers you own the game and an install.
Are you kidding me?
it installs the initial version of the game, like the 1.0, because that's the one that they ship. But even from day one, there's usually a big patch that fixes a lot of problems. So you don't really get the version of the game that most people are playing until you connect to the internet and download all the extra patches and data. And then every so often, every couple weeks, couple months, depending on how often the game's being updated, you'll get updates that then download to your game anyways. But ultimately, the entire game is running off your hard drive. The game is not running off the disk. It's just initially installed from the disk. And from there on out, that's your little key that proves, yes, I own this game.
And here's my and what everything you're explaining is one of the main problems I've had with gaming over the last few years is this. And I had the same problem when I set up my Xbox the other night. Took me forever to get it set up just because I had to sign into all this stuff, get online, be online to do anything, just to get a Blu-ray to play. You know what I mean? Like I had to go through like almost 2-3 hours worth of shit just to get a Blu-ray to play because it had all these updates and all this other crap. And that's the kind of crap I dislike. You know, I mean, I love the days when I could just plug in my Sega or my Nintendo or what have you, put the fucking game in, turn it on, and did it. I'm ready to go. You know, I get it.
Now, but before I lose it, when you get the game from digital, it still downloads to the hard drive same way, right?
Yeah, it runs the same way.
The exact same amount of data on the hard drive is taken up by the digital copy as it is by the physical copy.
So with the new systems, if the only difference is that you got a disk drive and you got one that's all digital, just get the all digital because like Tom is saying,
if you want a 4K Blu-ray player, then
yeah, but that's the thing. Blu-ray players, a PlayStation 5 is going to cost an arm and a leg, right? Yeah. So you want to burn that system out playing movies?
No, personally, but I would likely get the all digital one. I think though that Sony, they're in a position to really be able to essentially grab the market in a way that it hasn't been before if they make the all digital one significantly cheaper than the disc-based one, because it will make it so that every single game has to be bought through their store, which means even on games that they don't publish, they're getting an extra 30% of that ticket price. And they're not giving 5% to like Best Buy or EB Games or GameStop. But I don't think they'll do it because I think it'll piss a lot of people off that just want the disc. But I think, was CCA 10E28 was saying it's more safe to have the disc than without. That part is what I often would say is debatable because a digital copy you can't step on, it can't get scratched, it can't get stolen.
But your account can be hacked and they can take shit away just like any other digital thing any other time. But they still got you by the balls because that's the point I was bringing up. It doesn't matter if I have a disc anymore. Like you were saying, it gets downloaded from the disc and all the disc is my little code that lets the system know that I paid for it.
Yeah, and it's a backup of the 1.0 version. But what I was going to like kind of conclude that was saying is the real new safe way to get games is like now it's a system that's only available on PC, but it's any kind of storefront that doesn't have digital rights management. So GOG, which is actually the same company that makes Cyberpunk and Witcher, CD Projekt, their storefront, every game you buy from them has no system of digital rights management, meaning you never have to log in and handshake with their servers to prove that you own the game. And means every game in my GOG library, if I downloaded them onto like a USB hard drive, gave them to you, you could take it and install it on your computer. There's nothing stopping me from essentially giving away all the games that I bought from them and infinitely repeating them, except for the fact that them giving me that freedom makes me want them to not go out of business. And so I don't do that because I'm like, okay, it's an ethical breach because you're giving away games that other people didn't pay for. However, I'm able to back up my games and secure them so that if my internet ever goes down, I can still oh crap! My friend is at my door now. I'm hearing my doorbell ring.
That's all right.
But anyways, digital rights management is probably the worst thing about this whole deal.
Right. No problem. Yeah. The only problem is you got it's only keeps honest people to do it because, like you said, it's not stopping anybody from just spreading it around. It's not stopping anybody from, basically putting them out of business, and it could happen, but.
Gamers are pretty straight up like that too. Like most
that's just
younger people will pirate the shit out of it.
It's only going to last as long as you're on it, though. But did you have to go all together, Mark, or are you going to be right back? Oh, he's on the phone now. So,
yeah, but now check this out. Back to this purely digital versus one with the hard drive, right?
No problem, Mark.
This is going to be besides just being able to have the disc and have a Blu-ray player with it, which I say get the digital and the separate Blu-ray. The main thing that's a big thing people have been asking for years is reverse compatibility. And reverse compatibility is only going to be if you have the physical disc.
And that's where I think the disc drive version comes in. And another side of that is like the Blu-ray player part of it. Look, I get it. Most people don't give a shit when they buy a system if it plays movies or not. But we're stuck in a point right now where they don't make a lot of Blu-ray players, and they especially don't make a lot of 4K Blu-ray players. And to just buy one, 9 times out of 10, you're just better. Like that's what I did. I just turned around and bought an Xbox One for my 4K Blu-ray player because it was cheaper. It was so infinitely cheaper.
Really? Yeah, Xbox One has backwards compatibility.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah, and you can get the old games digitally on that one.
Stig, are you going for a next gen system?
What was that?
I was asking Stig, are you going to go for a next gen system, either PlayStation or Xbox?
Yeah, eventually. I'm more of an Xbox guy, and it's not because I think it's better or anything. It was just that's what I got back in the day. I just kept with it. But but I'm thinking I need to get a new TV first, though. I want a 4K TV and then get the next Xbox.
And that was my other motivation for getting the Xbox One is I did pick up a 4K TV for a hell of a deal. And I got a hell of a deal on the Xbox. So it was like what I spent on that package together. If I went and bought just, like right now, if I wanted to go buy a 4K TV, same size and all that stuff, and a Blu-ray 4K Blu-ray player, I'd be spending way more than I did, probably twice as much. So, I mean, in that respect, the Xbox One is probably the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player out there right now.
Yeah, it is fairly good deal as far as 4K. It's actually what I use as a 4K Blu-ray player. But yeah, no, my friends just got here that one of my friends is buying my couch.
No problem.
So to make my move a little bit easier. He was supposed to be there at 5 p.m. It's now 4:45. So, yeah.
No, I know.
A little bit earlier, but you're ringing my doorbell, and then he called me. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there soon. So sorry, I do have to take off now. But it was very nice talking to you guys. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks
Tom,
for hanging
Jesse,
in. And I want everybody to make sure they head on over and subscribe to you, and make sure even if you have subscribed, just double check, because when I went to get your link earlier, Mark, YouTube had turned off my bell on you.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so
on my channel, I don't do as much anymore. I pretty much just stream over there. But Gaming with Geeks, I have a video that comes out almost every week. So Geeks and Gamers sub-channel, Gaming with Geeks, that's all our gaming content. You will see quite a lot of me on, because I'm on the podcast there every Saturday. And I usually make at least one fully edited video per week.
Well, you're very, very educated on all of the ins and outs of how all this actually functions, which is a big difference between you and a lot of gamers.
Yeah.
And you can also check him out on Gaming with Geeks as well, with the Geeks and Gamers channel, right?
Yeah. Gaming with Geeks is kind of the one that most of my content pops up on these days. Every so often I'll do something on the main Geeks and Gamers channel, but saying as I'm kind of the gaming guy, it's usually on the gaming one. But anyways, got to run. But Stig, good to see you as well as that too. And Jesse, I say hi to you.
As Black Phoenix says, "Oh, bye, Mark."
Oh, bye, Mark. Yeah. So I did not hear, brother. I did not. All right.
Take care and be well.
Yeah, it's been too long. DCB Titan sent a Canadian $5. Says, sounds like Xbox Series X will allow for cross Microsoft systems single purchase of games. That's another good thing. I won't have a problem with this. In games, I'm probably a little bit more how do I put this? I'm a little less leery with the digital side of things than movies per se, I guess, if that makes any sense. But I've already been forced to buy so many movies digitally, I don't like it. Like I just had to buy another movie digitally.
Yeah,
yesterday.
The service goes down, you no longer have it. Yeah,
exactly. Or they lose the rights to it or whatever. And I know this is a stupid movie and nobody gives a shit, but I had to buy Hot to Trot digitally because it's only available on DVD and I wanted it in HD. So I was like, what was my choice? You know?
I had bought,
and it was actually cheaper to buy it digitally in HD than it was on DVD as well, by the way. But anyway.
I bought Heavy Metal on Comcast, and when I moved, they redid my whatever, my account, and I no longer had it, and I couldn't get it back, so I bought that shit on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that one's luckily enough it's on Blu-ray, and I bought that one right away. I actually bought that when it was still a Best Buy exclusive. When it first, that was one of them. Like when it came out, I had to buy it.
It's a good movie, man.
Oh, it is. It's one of mine.
Down on that movie, it's like if you get down on that movie, you just don't get it, man.
Oh yeah, like that was one of the earlier DVDs I bought too when it first came out. So you like that movie too, don't you, Stieg?
Which one?
Heavy Metal.
The Lochnar.
I actually like the second one better.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before. It's been a long time since I've seen the second one.
I'll admit, I never watched the second one because I didn't hear good things.
It's just one story. It's not like several different stories. The only thing that took me a little bit was the animation, but Steeg's probably seen it more than I have, so he probably has more to say about that.
Like, the four originally, they were all different time eras, different beings. Like, is this something completely new or something we've seen before in the original?
Go ahead, Stieg. You've seen it more than I have.
Well, the second one is one story. It's an R-rated sci-fi action movie, really. Well, the first one is a bunch of segments, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of segments, and I can't remember if the second movie is attached to the one segment or if it's its own thing. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Because it might be I'm trying to remember if it was a spin-off of the last story.
I think it was based on a comic.
It is, yeah. And Kevin Eastman either wrote or directed it or both. I know that.
I mean, the second one was based on one comic.
Yeah.
One story.
It had nothing to do with the race that Tarna was from.
That's what I was trying to remember. It's been so long since I've seen it. I can't remember if it was spun off of that last story or if it was his own thing. If somebody in the chat remembers, yeah, okay. Captain Robert said no, it's its own thing. Okay, yeah, it's its own thing. So yeah, it's
that way, honestly. But I would like to see more about the backstory of some of these things.
I don't remember it being bad or anything. It just took me off guard because I was expecting. Yeah, DCB says it's its own story. Thank you, and thank you for the $2 super chat. Black Phoenix didn't like it at all, and that's understandable. I think the animation took me off guard a little bit because I think it was done with computers, and I mean it's not CGI animation, but it's 2D. But it's I don't know.
There wasn't enough of those old movies, those old cartoon movies like American Pop and Heavy Metal, and then there was like, to a lesser extent, there was Rock and Roll.
Are you the only other person I know that's seen American Pop?
Whoever hasn't seen American Pop, go watch it. You'll enjoy it.
I know. I think you're the only person I know who has seen it besides me. That's another one I had to buy digitally because it's only on DVD.
She says you're crazy. And he says I'm crazy in love with those blue eyes.
It's a good movie. You ever seen that one, Stieg? Probably not.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it came out, I think, the same year as Heavy Metal, didn't it?
80, yeah.
I think the same year. It was Ralph Bakshi.
Because they had actors, right? And they had scenes, and they animated right over it.
It's called Rotoscope, yeah.
Rotoscope?
Yeah. And it takes place...
like that I don't know about?
What was that?
Are there more cool movies out there like that I don't know about?
A lot of Bakshi stuff use Rotoscope in it. He's got a lot of movies that never made it to disc. I'm just learning about myself here and there. But yeah, he did that a lot. Captain April's seen it too. American Pop's amazing. It's about like three or four generations of a family starting way back in the early 1900s, following their lives, and they all kind of go through music, and it has real music mixed in with fake people. So they use music from like Jefferson Airplane and Bob Seger and Hendrix is in it and stuff like that. But I mean, and I think they have Mama Cass in there too. But
the first two, when you're watching it, you'll be like, "What are they talking about?" Because the first two characters aren't very exciting, but the third guy and the fourth guy are what the story are all about. The third guy is the main guy.
Yeah, once they get to the 60s and 70s and 80s, that's when it ends in 80 or whatever. But yeah.
Because between him and the girl and how the story progresses and everything that happens, I thought it was great.
It's tough to talk about without giving up too much of the story, but yeah, it's just how music influenced their lives, and father son kind of thing.
without the plot points. It's just like, yeah, this movie was really good.
It's actually a good movie for Father's Day now that I think about it.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Persevere. Tomorrow's a new day.
Well, like I said, it's about fathers to generations of father handing down the musical, thing kind of. Even though the one generation didn't quite know his dad, but still,
that's exactly it too. Because like between the third and fourth generation, he was cast into being a father because he didn't know, and then like.
Yeah, because that's not really his kid, technically. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is. But, it takes him later in life to form that bond, definitely. Well, anyway, we were.
You don't think that kid was biological? I thought that was the.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Let's stop talking about this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to get too much. Watch it. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch it, Steve, it's a good movie. You might like it. You might not. You might. It's different. It's not your typical animated movie.
I can watch most things, really.
If you've seen any of Bakshi's stuff before, you'll know what to expect.
Oh yeah, I've seen the what was it, Sword and the Sorcerer?
No, yeah.
Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice, yeah. And he did Lord of the Rings, and he did Fritz the Cat, and he did
Fritz the Cat. I was gonna look for that for a watch party. I forgot about that.
I've got the DVDs.
How many DVDs do you have?
Oh, DVDs? I don't know.
And Blu-rays.
Blu-rays over thousands. What were you saying, Steve? I'm sorry.
Amazon.
I hear good things about Felix the Cat, though.
Felix or?
Oh, sorry, the one.
Fritz the Cat.
It's supposed to be filthy, right?
It is very anti-PC. That's for sure.
I bet I'd like it.
Oh yeah, yes you would. It's got everything from animated animal sex to animal Nazis to Hitler's in it, drug use, abuse, you name it. Wizards, yeah, that was another one of his. I've seen that one, DCB Titan. I had to get that one on import because the one that's in the US is out of print and expensive as shit. But yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, Fritz the Cat is wild. I actually like 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat a little better. Bakshi didn't have anything to do with that one though. But I think I like that one just because it's a little bit more easier to follow. Fritz is a little all over the place. It's like an LSD trip, kind of. It's messed up. But yeah. It basically is about like picture if it was not animals, it's just like about a guy who's a hippie who goes around fucking everything and finds himself in weird situations. That's kind of about what it's about. I mean, he's not a hippie, but he's like, he was one of those guys that took advantage of that era for sure. He didn't really stand for nothing, but yeah.
I'm watching a little bit of Wizards right now. I gotta say, this is rather trippy. Don't watch it.
Wizards is cool. Have you seen Wizards before? Have you seen Wizards yet, Steve?
Not sure.
If you look it up on IMDb, they'll be able to just show you a little bit of it that I just saw. But yeah, 1977, Bob Holt, Jesse Wells, Richard Romanus.
It's like a sci-fi futuristic kind of people ride around on these weird like animals.
Maybe I've seen it actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like got a Star Wars vibe to it and mixed with what am I thinking of? Yeah, Bakshi also made Cool World, but yeah, Cool World.
Mark Hamill was in it as Sean.
If you gave Bakshi a little bit more money, Cool World could have been much better.
Yeah, I think I've seen this one.
Have you?
A long time ago, though. I think a friend of mine might have had it on VHS or something.
No, I got a big thing. If you're going to half-ass anything, don't even bother doing it.
Mark Hamill's in it.
Give him the money.
That's what Jesse just said, yeah.
I've never seen it, so I don't know who Sean is.
See, I've seen it, and I didn't even realize Mark Hamill was in it.
Acting!
Right? Well, that's because he's real good at his voices. His voice work is amazing.
I miss John Lovitz.
I mean, I didn't even realize it was him doing the Joker until probably a couple of years into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know he's just that good at his voice work.
But now if anybody doesn't do the Joker like that, it's wrong Joker. You know what I mean?
Like this?
Hello, boy.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched it, but yeah.
We killed the Batman.
Oh shit! Yeah, Bakshi does some really trippy shit. I mean, he did a lot of stuff where he would take like recordings of people just talking in the real world and then animate it. Like a lot of that's in his movies. Like there's one movie where that's like the whole movie. I'm trying to think of what it's called, Traffic or something like that. Or
that sounds brilliant, actually.
I'm sitting here thinking about what it would sound like if Cesar Romero.
There's another word in the title, but Traffic's also in the title. But yeah, I mean it's interesting, Stieg. He does a lot of very experimental stuff like that. I mean, even Fritz has some of that where he just took some of the real world conversations people are having and then just animated it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit for some of the shit he did, to be honest with you. But well, Crumb didn't really like Fritz the Cat, the movie. But Crumb's a fucking strange fucking cat in his own right. If you know anything about him, but yeah.
What is this movie? Hey, Good Looking? 1980.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a lot of movies I've never seen, and they've never even been released on, like, at least if they've been on video, they're hard to find and shit now. So, yeah.
What is this?
Who is Robert Crumb? Crumb was a comic artist, and he was the guy who made Fritz the Cat, but he's most well known for the Keep on Truckin' meme from the early or late 70s, I guess it would be. He was an underground artist, yeah. And then when they made Fritz the Cat, he denounced the movie. He didn't like it. Honestly, I kind of get where he's coming from, but at the same time, like I said, he's a strange cat. So he's kind of like one of those, like, what's his face who wrote Watchmen? Now the name just escaped me. The crazy guy, though.
Neil Gaiman?
Is that who I'm thinking of? That might be who I'm thinking of. Because that was a name I thought of first, but I'm like, no, it's not Neil Gaiman, but maybe it is who I'm thinking of. Yeah, he's a weirdo, to put it mildly, says Clobbering Times. That's very true. There's actually a documentary out there with him in it. Or it's about him, but it's like him following him around. No, not Frank Miller. Alan Moore. That's who I'm thinking of. Alan Moore.
What the fuck is this?
But, I don't know. That's maybe an insult to Alan. But what were you saying, Jesse? Sorry.
Have you ever heard of a movie called Heavy Traffic from 1970?
That's the one. That's the one I was just talking about. Heavy Traffic. That's the one where he takes real conversations and just animates them.
Yeah, I'm watching this right now. This is bizarre. This is like performance art in a movie. It's like photo negative chicks in bikinis dancing around, so I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's a trippy movie. I've seen that one. I've seen Heavy Traffic. That one's been released. He's got. Let's put it this way: maybe like a good 20% of his shit's actually been released on video, and that's just the more popular stuff.
Oh, I get it. They're dressed like clown. They got clown makeup on. That's why their faces look trippy. That's fucked.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. It's a weird watch. It was on Amazon, I think, here. Like last year. I don't know if it still is. I don't know what it would be on over there, Stieg, if it's available, but yeah.
Well, I do think we can get Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you might be able to just get it from there, if anything. But yeah, if you're into animation and like experimental animation, especially, he's somebody you definitely should check out. I think you'd probably dig him. What was that, Jesse?
There's no full movie of Fritz the Cat.
I have the movie. It was on Hulu.
Is it only 50 minutes long?
No, it's an hour and 20 minutes, maybe.
I got it on YouTube on clips. I can't watch party it.
Oh, then yeah.
Watch party something I can't have everybody watch for free.
That sucks.
But yeah, those other two are weird.
It was on Hulu for a while.
I found Over the Top, the whole movie.
Oh, hell yeah. With Stallone?
Over the Top.
Yeah. That one's awesome.
You ever have somebody do that to you while you're arm wrestling? That's a real thing. If they fold your fingers the right way, if you put pressure on it to push his arm down, it'll feel like you're breaking your finger. It's a big cheat.
No, I just lose normally.
I like to arm wrestle sometimes. Only when people are like being douchey, though. Like once I worked with this kid, and he was a young kid. He was real arrogant, and he worked out a lot. So, I was like, he said something to me one day. I was like, you couldn't even beat me at arm wrestling. So he was like, oh, yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's do it in the break room at lunch. So all of the guys are sitting around, and he goes to arm wrestle me. And what I did was I just locked up my arm, right? So he couldn't push on it. So he puts all of his pressure on me. The second I felt his arm lock up, I just slammed him down. I threw him off of his chair because he couldn't move his arm backwards because he locked it. Threw him right off the damn table, and everybody started laughing.
Why do I imagine working with you is like working with a cheery Randall?
Guy at work once was like, yo, I need you to break my hand. I was like, break your hand? He was like, yeah, it's already messed up, but I need it to be broken. I was like, all right. So he's like, go in the bathroom. I was like, so we went in the bathroom. He's like, I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, just punch it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like I punched it until he was dancing around. I think I got him pretty good. I mean,
you were such a nut.
Yeah,
I swear it's got to be what it's like working with you. Y'all know Randall from fucking Clerks, right? Only cheery
and more political.
Well, yeah, to a point, I guess. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. You have a much more cheery demeanor than Randall does. Randall just hates everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate everything and I like everything at the same time.
You can sit there and talk about something you hate, but you do it in a cheery way. That's the weird thing about you.
Well, you got to compartmentalize when you get a sociopath your way through life.
The thing about being around Jesse is, and you'll find this out if you ever spend any amount of time with him, is he's just one of those guys that when you're around him, he makes you realize that the little shit doesn't matter as much. You just got to have a good time all the time, no matter what it is. And he oozes that. And it's a very good quality to have in a person. Even if they're very opinionated as him, even if you don't agree with everything he does say, and even if he's fucking crazy as crazy can be.
I am too.
He's fucking nuts. So
but I'm your nut.
That I can agree with, but like I said, and it's like more like I don't care if you get thrown in jail, just throw me your wallet. It's like because I ain't got the money to bail your ass out.
Who do you want me to call? Do they take credit cards to bail people out?
Yeah, in some states, I think.
Only in the good ones.
We gotta get you over here, Steve. I know you don't want to come over here, but we'll get you to Vegas. And Jesse will show you a good time.
I don't even know where anything is, but we'll figure it out.
See?
I've been seeing too many Florida Man stuff and Walmart stuff.
I just seen a Florida Man sign.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm skeptical about the whole damn country.
So apparently I'm going to go to Florida next month.
What do you got to go to Florida for?
Vacation.
Oh, okay.
I was going to take my son camping again because we really like this one campground that's on the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island, and it's beautiful there. But
well, I seen a meme this morning that said, "Do not feed or molest the alligators." Only.
Oh yeah, I want to do that.
Oh, this is a meme you shared with me, Stieg.
Yeah, I made it.
Good job.
That's why I sounded distracted earlier, because I made it on the stream. I think I got it right, though. Did I understand it correctly?
I think so. I think you got it pretty good here. And I think Animal's right, too. Jesse is weed in human form. I think you're correct.
I agree.
Fans paying customers. That's pretty good, Steve. Did you share that out on your Twitter, too?
You got to make sure to wash your hands.
Wash your hands and wash your ass.
Mm-hmm. It's true, though. The game was rather ham-fisted.
I love that they got the chicken feet on the plate.
Yeah.
You know what? My mom did that to us once because
that's probably the DLC.
DLC.
Chicken feet DLC.
Yeah.
We always used to be like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" And she'd always get annoyed. So one day she says chicken feet, and she was just joking. So one night she said that, and we came down. There's chicken feet on plates. We were just looking at her like, "What the hell is that?" And she was like, "It's a joke." I was like, "Thank God."
Well, that explains a lot about you.
Yep. Then she quickly threw them in the garbage and got new plates.
Clobbering Time says, it's been my experience that if you spend 10 minutes talking about 3 things you hate and 2 hours on something you love, you still be accused of hating everything. That's Midnight's Edge in a nutshell right there. Right there. We get accused constantly of all we do is hate clickbait bullshit.
It's too bad that's too long for a t-shirt.
Yeah, right? That's Midnight's Edge After Dark. I mean, you've been speaking highly about a lot of animated movies today.
Oh, yeah, we do this a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
not hate speech or whatever.
Great examples. We spent 3 hours yesterday talking about movies of 1984. Stieg was on that show over on According to Christie, and I mean, we could have spent 3 hours more probably talking about those movies because we just love them so much, and that's why we do this in the first place. I think people forget that fundamentally why we picked this to do, at least for me, speaking on my behalf, because I mean, you guys, this isn't your job. This is my job. So, I mean, the reason I do this and I'm happy to do this as my job is because I love movies and I know so much about them. And
you really do, though.
I mean, that's the thing is if I didn't love movies, why the fuck would I do this? Why the hell would I care so much that the shit's being destroyed?
I mean, if you care about a franchise, right? Well, being a fan means you care about it so much that every detail counts, right? But that also means you should get to say your piece when something is being ripped apart by bad writers or whatever.
Right, and that's kind of the fundamentals of the Phantom Menace right there, is our ability to be able to speak out about something we dislike or like and not be attacked by others, basically. What were you going to say, Jesse? Sorry.
The real big deal is that you could rail against something that's going to suck as much as you can, but the day that film is released, it's over. It's done. It's shot. You just broke the plate. You can't glue it back together again. That's why it was such a big deal when they did the thing with Sonic that they did and they redid it. It's like more people need to listen like that, but it doesn't seem like many do. Even after it was an example that was something that turned out to be successful because they listened to the fandoms.
Yeah. And I get Snyder Cut too.
Yeah, that's been a big one lately. It's like something that I personally don't care about, but like,
I mean, me neither. But I'm
good.
Happy for the fans.
Yeah, exactly. I still want to see Henry Cavill wearing the old school Christopher Reeves costume. There's a picture going around like that recently on Twitter that it looked great.
I don't think that's in the movie, but I think the black suit is.
Oh yeah, I know it's not going to be in the movie. I wish it was.
It'd be nice. I seen somebody also take his suit, and the only thing they changed is they gave him the trunks and the belt, and it made an infinite difference, in my opinion.
It's too dark the way it is.
Yeah, it looks too much like a jumpsuit. Like he's a wrestler
or a Power Rangers costume.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Everybody's too serious. I'm truly serious.
I mean, Batman, you can get away without it. Yeah, because he's wearing black trunks on black pants. Okay, point taken. You're not going to do the gray and blue Batman. You don't need the trunks. I get it. But Superman just does not look right without that breaking up the blue. You're right. I agree 100%.
You know what? I know that it was not a perfect costume and you could see lines on the seams and stuff, but I still think that there's not a better Batman costume in my taste than the original Michael Keaton one.
Yeah, I'm fully behind you on that one.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. In fact, I can show you how much of a favorite it is of mine. It's right there. I can't really see it.
It was perfect. The ratio.
It's on my wall back there. I can't bring it out far enough. See it kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Keaton Batman.
Michael Keaton was an awesome Batman.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite. Costume at least, yeah.
Usually, the actor who plays Batman is either really good as Batman or Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
There's only two that I can say were good at both. Keaton, and believe it or not, my opinion, and I know this is just my opinion and people are going to throw shit at me, but Affleck.
Are you counting Conroy because he's a cartoon?
No. But Kevin Conroy does a great job. I mean, Batman the animated series is like on its own fucking level. You can't
never heard anyone talk shit about him.
Yeah, you can't really. If you bring that into the equation, that's the problem. Then you have like, I mean, that's just, like, yeah. It's like trying to compare every movie to The Godfather or something. It's stupid. You know, it's like, you know, you're never going to get past it. Because
more time to sit in the role.
Exactly. It's what we've needed from Batman for years. I wish they just, and Gary and I had this conversation like 2 years ago. I've had this conversation with Rob 100 times. I'm sure I've had this conversation with you guys at some point. All Warner Brothers needs to do right now to have the #1 show on television, better yet, put it on HBO so you could have it be darker. And that is just Batman the series. Straight up Batman. It's cheap. All you need is the world's greatest detective doing what the world's greatest detective does for an hour every week.
And good casting.
And great casting, yeah. And you got the best rogue gallery there is. You'll never run out of great characters. You've got Batman, arguably, besides Spider-Man and Superman, have the greatest supporting cast, but Batman, hands down, has the best rogue gallery. Nobody touches it.
You know what?
Nobody touches it.
I liked most of the villains. I mean, I thought that the Riddler was really good. I thought that the guy who played the Penguin was fun. Catwoman was good.
That's the thing. We could sit here all day and name Batman villains, and we'd run out of them once we sit here. Name a Superman villain, you know, kind of thing. I mean, you can name like 3 Superman villain usually off the top of your head, maybe 4 if you're lucky. You can do maybe 5 or 6 Spider-Man villains, but I bet you could name 10 Batman villains right now.
Oh yeah, easy. Joker, Bookworm, King.
When you're going deep, you're doing deep cuts right off the bat. Besides Joker,
Killer Croc.
See, you got a plenty to go yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the Penguin.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, even Stieg ain't even chimed in yet. I bet you he could come up with 5, no problem too.
The Joker.
Joker's awesome.
Penguin, yeah. Catwoman, Riddler.
Lady Shiva, is that one?
Yeah, Poison Ivy. Bane.
Deadshot.
Deadshot, yeah. And them are some more deeper cuts you guys have been pulling out, and we still got some of the A games left.
Two-Face and the Mad Hatter.
Exactly, 2 more. That's what I was saying. We still got some of the A players yet.
Yeah, and I'm not even a comic book reader at all.
That's my point.
Even I know it.
If my grandma was still alive, I could ask her to name 5 Batman villains, and she could do it.
Yeah. Hush, that's one, right?
Yeah, I think so. King Tut, yeah. There's another deep cut.
Red Hood Saga.
And Dr. Freeze is another A one we haven't mentioned yet.
Black Mask.
Oh, yeah, Black Mask is a good one.
Yep.
Harley Quinn.
Yep.
Falcone.
Yeah, and he's not even a super villain per se, but yeah, definitely. I mean, he's on the same level as Lex Luthor almost, if you want to bring it that way. Definitely. Gosh, and that's the thing. We haven't even gotten into Ra's al Ghul or Talia al Ghul, or that's what I'm saying. Yeah, now Road Warrior just brought up too. Same time I did. Yeah, what?
It's Damian. I don't trust him as being the next Batman. Kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Bruce?
Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy's a super. He's more of a Superman villain though, isn't he?
I don't know. He was in the Arkham games. That's why
he was, but I think he kind of originated more with Superman. But I could be wrong.
I don't know.
But like Sentinel basically named most of the Superman villains people know. I mean, you can name some more of the Kryptonians, but yeah, that's the only way people I think would get to that point because Superman's rogue gallery is even kind of thin. But yeah, Clayface is. I'd say he's more of a. Would you say Clayface is an A villain or a B villain for Batman?
Oh, I would consider him a late model A villain.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he was pretty prominent in the series.
Because in Batman the Animated Series, when they had the Clayface episode the first time, I was a little kid and I was just thinking, this guy scares the shit out of me.
Right, and Joe Chill, that's a good one.
It's like I cartoon, but I'm just looking at it like, how would you beat this thing?
There's another A player we didn't bring up yet. What were you gonna say, Steve?
I have an obscure one, Copperhead.
Nice.
Maxi Zeus. Yeah. We haven't even brought up like what's his face? Strange. Hugo Strange.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a ninja in the house.
Who's your favorite Batman villain?
You never thought you would see a fat black guy looking at you at your screen right now, huh?
Only in America.
Well, you look rather cheerful.
Of course, Jay is probably the only other person on the internet that's more cheerful than Jesse is.
So does that mean you're baked too?
No, he's just looking into your soul right now. Now you're a white boob, Jay. Oh, there you are. How you doing, man?
Okay, so what's up with this Sunday Funday stuff? Because I love fun days.
Oh, we've just been talking
to
all
name
kinds
the entire,
of stuff.
Batman.
Well, it kind of kicked off. I was like, how Warner Brothers and stuff would have they'd have the #1 show in America right now if they just do Batman the series live action with a great cast. They've got all the greatest villains in the world that you could never run out of. We've named at least 20 or better by now.
Warner is going to go there. This is what they're going to do. I got some insiders. And my insiders, they've been on point so far. And I hate to be one of them people to say I got sources, but these sources is pretty legit. They're going the multiverse route. So we might see a lot of Batman, different versions of Batman. We might see different versions of Justice League. I think they're really trying to attack this opening that Marvel has right now, because Marvel don't have their Robert Downey Jr.'s. They don't have their Chris Evans. So why not? Why not? It's going to be fun these next few years. It's going to be real interesting, the stuff that we see when it comes to these superhero movies. And I can't wait.
Do I get Pirate Batman?
You might get Batman in a cheetah skin thong. You don't never know. Hey, trust me.
King Batman.
Trust me, I know how that feels. I had a matter of fact, what I'm talking about, I got a thong on now. See, that's the magnificent thing about live streaming. You could be streaming with your shirt and your hat on like me, but down there, it's a whole different type of jungle, baby. Trust and believe. I have nothing on right now, and I can prove it.
I don't wear cat underwear. I only wear panther.
I see some cool people in the chat. What's up, Trey? What's up, Sketch? What's up, Matt G?
Panther skin underwear.
And I'm looking at you, Stig. Stig, why are you just over there looking Obi-Wan Kenobi?
He's ignoring you now.
Yeah, I'm looking up at
Don't look at the other way. You look at me when I'm talking to you, sir.
Well, I'm trying, but my neck is stiff.
Oh, okay. He's been looking at like that way for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm. Very introspective.
Matt G
all those one-liners. He's always thinking.
Matt G sent $2. Is Batman's metal armor in BVS based on anything? Yeah, it looks, from my recollection, there's been a few times where Batman's used armor like that.
It's based off of
Dark Knight.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns. It's based on Frank Miller's run. Dark Knight Returns.
Didn't he also use the same kind of armor in Kingdom Come as well?
Yes, and then recently in the Court of Owls, he actually had a Batman mecha suit.
There you go. Does anybody else remember when they teased that they were going to do Kingdom Come as an animated movie and it never came out?
Man, that would have been the most
Where the fuck did it go?
Beautiful thing. Because I swear, Kingdom Come as a comic is like a freaking movie.
Oh,
I mean,
it's amazing.
The way he drew that, it looks like a freaking movie.
You guys familiar with Kingdom Come?
No, because I'm not from the DC side. But I also wanted clarification.
Oh, you're a Marvel fanboy?
Yeah, I've always been that. But dude, when they had the Ultimate Universe, they killed it. And then
I'm just messing with you.
Steve, I know you're not much of a comic guy, but have you ever heard of Kingdom Come? It was a graphic novel.
No, but
I like both.
I did read a comic about a month ago. Someone told me to read the Harleen graphic novel.
What'd you think?
It's just like the origin of Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty damn good, actually.
Glad to hear.
Jesse, I'm just kidding, man. I like DC and Marvel. But
what I wanted to ask you about was you're saying that they're gonna go the multiverse route. Fine by me, because it's been in the mythos for a while. So why not just put it on a screen? Are you talking small or big screen?
it's going to be both. Marvel, I said Marvel. DC is going to have their big films like your Wonder Womans, your Black Adams, your Shazam, your Matt Reeves Batman. Then on HBO Max, you're gonna have your pretty much your Snyderverse. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that Snyderverse is coming too, where you're gonna have lower budget movies that's strictly for HBO Max. It's kind of like recently how the two Flashes met up in the CW. Did you read about that or see that on the internet? Where they had the two Flashes, Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin Flash, and they met up on the Crisis Infinite TV show.
Is that when he pushed that lady down the store?
No, I think you think about the movie.
Oh, it's just a clip of him in real life.
Oh, you talking about when he threw the woman on the ground?
Yeah.
I think that was staged, man.
I think some people need rehab.
Did you see how that slowly disappeared? I think that was staged.
She might have gotten a nice payday.
This was what I was wondering. Why the freak was she smiling when he body slammed her into the ground?
Because she knew she just made $1 million.
Managed to turn my head, Phil.
Yeah, you did.
Would you get choke slammed by the Big Show if you knew you was getting $1 million?
Twice.
I'm talking about one of those bone shattering shows.
You could do it outside in a park, like on the asphalt.
Would you take a bone shattering choke slam for $1 million?
From the Big Show, yes.
I don't know, man. Even though $1 million is cool, I don't think it's worth my bones being shattered. Chad, you let me know. Would you get your bones shattered by Big Show if you knew you was getting $1 million? That might mess some stuff up for good, you know.
You could up it and just say "Hell in the Cell" with the Undertaker.
Man, hell no, man. Undertaker.
That'd be like $5 million.
every time they take Undertaker out, he do one of these.
Yeah. You get tired before you beat his ass.
That's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna never beat him because he just do one of these. Once you knock him out. Everybody's saying no.
Must be insane. Mick Foley.
I literally hear.
Okay.
This is the funniest thing in the world. I literally hear freaking crickets in the background. Who the freak is that? Who is outside peeing?
That's me in nature.
Tom, is you outside peeing? Really? While we doing a live stream? You're grown.
No, that is me.
Why you got crickets in your house?
Because I have the window open.
Are you one of them type of people?
I live in Connecticut.
Are you one of them type of people who secretly eat chocolate-covered crickets?
No, but my mother, she went to Catholic school, right? And back in the day, the teacher gave all the kids chocolates. Then after the kids ate the chocolate, she showed them that it was a box. She showed them the box. It was all chocolate-covered bees and chocolate-covered grasshoppers.
Damn.
That's cold-blooded, right?
Maybe she was.
I'd have sued the shit out that teacher.
It's not how it worked in Catholic school back in the day. Nuns are vicious.
Oh, I like that shirt, Marty McFly. Okay, now this is the thing right here. This is the thing. Now, since the Snyder Cut is out, I am pushing for that Back to the Future unreleased movie with my boy Eric.
We've been pushing for that for years, man.
And I don't care what people say. Oh, he looked so serious. I don't give a freak.
What are you talking about? I don't know of this.
You never heard of Eric Stoltz? Eric Stoltz is the original Marty McFly. Yeah.
You didn't know that, Jesse?
No.
They shot. They wanted Michael J. Fox for Back to the Future, but the guy who ran Family Ties is like, I can't show this script to Michael. If he sees this script, he's going to want to do it. And we can't lose him right now because he's the main focal point of the show. Meredith Baxter Burney's pregnant. So until she's back, it's all about Michael J. Fox. Mm-hmm. So they're like, there's no way he can do this. Sorry, just no can do. And he already had Teen Wolf in his schedule, so he couldn't fit another movie in there. So they're like, don't even show him the script, whatever.
Riches.
Anyway, so like Steven Spielberg and Zemeckis are like, well, what are we going to do? And Spielberg went to the studio and they're like, well, hire. They had a couple choices and they're like, well, hire Eric Stoltz. And if he doesn't work out, we'll recast and reshoot. So they shot for almost 4 weeks, I think it was, most of the movie with Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly. So like most of the stuff you see in the movie where it's opposite Michael J. Fox, that stuff was shot opposite Eric Stoltz and not Michael J. Fox.
Bizarre.
So then they were tested. So they were started to see the dailies, and the studio realized it wasn't working. The humor wasn't working. It wasn't what they were looking for. So they're like, okay, we got to recast, and we need Michael J. Fox. There's no doubt about it. That's who needs to play Marty McFly. So they worked the deal out, and of course, Michael J. Fox loved the script, wanted to do it. But the deal is he's basically working almost 24 hours a day. He would work for, and Family Ties always came first was the deal. So he would always have to go work on Family Ties for about 12 hours a day, get in a car, drive over to the set for Back to the Future, get work on Back to the Future for 10 hours, get a couple hours of sleep, go back to the set to the Family Ties, work on Family Ties, do this for 6 days a week, and he'd get like 1 day off.
What a beast.
Yeah, and he does not remember filming Back to the Future. That's how out of it he was.
Yeah, that's probably why the humor came off so good, because he was kind of flighty.
But he's like, I wanted to do the movie so bad that he was willing to sacrifice that much sleep for basically a month.
Make the sarcasm work too.
They still did Eric Stoltz dirty though.
In a way, yes, but
because they waited to the very end of filming to tell him they didn't want him.
Well,
true.
Close to it, but like he's the reason the footage has not seen the light of day, and what has seen is what he's signed off on. So
they said him and Biff, they said he was pissing Biff off, like on the scenes when they were fighting in the movie. He was actually hitting him hard.
Well, Thomas Wilson said that he was such a what's that called, a method actor, that he was constantly in arguments with him on the set, but the only person he wasn't method with was Leah Thompson, because he wanted to fuck her.
Nice. I agree. I would have been too.
But it's a crazy story. I'm surprised you never heard that before.
What is Eric still doing these days?
He's still acting.
Yeah, but he not in anything big though.
Well, he kind of got his moment after all that stuff went down. He was in Mask. And that got him a lot of acclaim, and he'd been in a lot of other movies since then. He was in Pulp Fiction, and
but like he always plays side characters. Because I remember he was in Pulp Fiction. I remember he was in Anaconda, but he played side roles.
Well, after Mask, he had a few big roles, but he just wasn't gonna be the Michael J. Fox guy. That just wasn't
even Michael J. Fox. Truth be told, Michael J. Fox haven't been in anything that big of a level of Back to the Future.
No, but he did fine. He had Secret of My Success, Teen Wolf.
It's his best.
Doc Holliday. He had
Teen Wolf came before or after Back to the Future.
Which one?
All
those did.
Teen Wolf was before Back to the Future?
He filmed it before Back to the Future, but it didn't come out till after.
I love Teen Wolf.
Okay.
The Spin City show was good.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, he had Spin City, and he had he did quite well. I mean, a few of his movies those last few years before he retired, he didn't, But between Doc Hollywood and a few other ones, he did just fine.
Dude, Doc Hollywood was the shit. Him and James Woods, that was good shit.
Yeah, I mean, and then he did Hard Way with James Woods. It didn't do the greatest, but it did all right.
That's the name.
And then he did. He did For Love or Money. That didn't do well. Greed didn't do well. What was the other ones he did?
Yeah, but I remember Greed.
Yeah, it was all right. I liked it.
What was the movie when he was dealing with the stock market?
Dealing with what?
When he was dealing with the stock market.
Was that?
I remember he was in.
That was Secret of My Success. Yeah, that was Secret of My Success. That one did well. Secret of My Success. I think that came out in '87.
That one is actually on its way to my mailbox.
Do you know who really was the best actor in Back to the Future? It was Biff.
Yeah, I'd say between him and Christopher Lloyd. Yeah.
Even bigger than Christopher Lloyd. Because think this: look how many roles and different characters Biff actually played. He actually played a younger version of himself. He played his grandson. He played an older version of himself. He played himself.
The great grandfather in 3.
That's what I'm saying. And then think about it. He played the Western version. Doc, Christopher Lloyd, he really played Doc through the whole movie.
Biff was also altered timeline Biff.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Well, in that respect, yeah, I guess I'll agree with you there. But I mean, as far as actor-wise, but did you know that Thomas Wilson is also a stand-up comedian? The guy who plays Biff?
I believe it. He was funny. He was the funniest dude in the movie to me.
Well, check this out. This is hilarious. I don't care if I get a copyright claim.
McFly!
This is good.
I hate manure.
This is Thomas Wilson singing the Biff question song. This is hilarious.
He's cool. He probably won't do it if it's actually his channel.
When I'm flying in a plane or I'm on the street, there's a lot of friendly people that I like to meet. They shake my hand but never ask my name, and they start asking questions that are always the same. Hey, what's Michael J. Fox like? He's nice. What's Christopher Lloyd like? Kind of quiet. What's Crispin Glover like? Unusual. Stop asking me the question.
Did you miss the beginning there, Fatal?
Now, I'm not Jewish, but I like to nosh. Put on my yarmulke, started to pray. When the rabbi leaned over and I heard him say, hey, was that...
I guess I had to start over, Jay. You missed it. Yeah, you missed the beginning, Jay. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, man. Somebody...
It's funny. It's okay.
That's all right.
I told you to stop smoking pot in here.
Apparently, Michael J. Fox has 73 or 75 credits.
Who got 75 credits?
Michael.
Yeah, he's
Tom, there's some stuff in the chat. Someone muted Nina.
Oh, Nina, hello. And Nina, no, I haven't seen Dark yet.
Who muted Nina?
Probably somebody by accident.
If you do Nina like that again, I am going to stalk you for the rest of your life.
I think Nina should be a
moderator
herself.
But yeah, man,
when they curse, because then I don't get show comment.
A lot of people didn't realize and appreciate that the actor Tom Wilson killed it as Biff. I think really Back to the Future wouldn't have been Back to the Future without Biff. Yeah.
I agree with Jay.
It would be a boring freaking movie without Biff.
There would be no antagonist.
Yeah, it'd just be we go back here. Yeah, we go back there. He caused problems, man. And he was comedy relief.
Yeah.
He always wound up in the shit.
Think about the quotes in Back to the Future. The first person quote you think of is who? Biff. McFly.
Hey, McFly.
Anybody home?
I thought I told you not to come in here, McFly.
That dude was talented. Now, Tom Wilson, why is he in other movies? I never known him to be in any other movies except Back to the Future.
I got the IMDb open right now.
Okay, something's going on because I think it's like I don't know, like a bunch of shit's getting timed out, and it's not like.
Yeah, Nina sent me a DM on Twitter saying one of your mods are timing everyone out, including herself.
I don't think it was on purpose. I think something's going on accident is what it looks like. Kind of like the time my cat stepped on my fucking keyboard.
Thomas F. Wilson, 137 titles, sorted by most recent.
I really don't think she's doing that.
Jay,
I mean, you're not muted now, Christian. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe she's being hacked.
Jesse, what movie stand out in his IMDb?
Okay, first off, he was on Knight Rider. That was his first job as Chip in episode 1.
What? He played Chip?
Yep, episode 1 of Knight Rider. Then he got Facts of Life was his next thing.
Oh, Snap! The Snaps Alive?
He played Moose.
The Facts Alive?
Let me guess, he was a football player, probably. Okay, then he had LA Street Fighters in 85 before getting Back to the Future in 1980.
He was in what?
LA Street Fighters. Then he's in April Fool's Day, that old horror movie. I didn't realize that. Let's Get Harry, Smart Alex, Action Jackson, The Last Ride, Back to the Future 2 and 3, Turn Hooch, Back to the Future, The Ride, High Strung, Boris and Natasha, Back to the Future cartoon, Blood In, Blood Out, Batman the Animated Series, 2 episodes as Anthony Tony Zuko, Tony.
Oh, so he doing a lot of voice actor work.
Yep, and John Grayson. Morning Man 88, Carolyn at Midnight, Mr. Right, Camp Nowhere. He was in Camp Nowhere with Christopher Lloyd again. Wing Commander 3,
Weird.
Wild, Wing Commander 4. He was in the Gargoyles cartoon. He was in Superman the Animated Series cartoon.
He making that Mark Hamill money pretty much.
Yeah, he is. He was in the Wing Commander Academy cartoon. He was in Supreme Teenage Witch, Lois and Clark, where he played Carter Landry. I don't know who that is.
I want to do that Knight Rider theme again.
You know what? I gotta say, compared to a lot of actors, he's been in a lot of money makers. I mean, like Lois and Clark, That Darn Cat, Gargoyles, Duckman. I fucking love Duckman.
Man, I think that voice actor game is the best because you don't have to work out no more.
Oh,
you don't have to look pretty.
Coffee.
But I'm gonna be honest with you though. You have to be talented with that voice actor. You can't just be some type of Rudy Poo and come in and thinking, okay, I'm just gonna make this easy money. Because if I watched a lot of those DC cartoons, DC animated.
Yeah.
A bad voice actor can mess up the whole movie.
Yes, it does. That's why I like Phil Lamar.
Oh yeah,
he went from being the UPS guy on Mad TV to become a voice actor, and he was an original comedian. And a lot of people don't know that's Samurai Jack too. Yep.
Yeah. It's something about comedians make great voice actors.
He's Hermes on Futurama. That's the best one to me, obviously, because I love that show. Inch and a half of water.
It's something about a correlation of comedians make good voice actors.
Yep. I was smart enough because I was live streaming while I was in line. I got to interview him real quick, and I put that in a short video on my channel. But he was really nice.
Who, Phil Lamar?
Yeah, he seemed very very honest and introspective, like he wasn't rushing through what I asked him.
Yeah, but and a lot of people missed them good old classic days of him being on Mad TV. He was hilarious on there, man. Like you said, he played the
first gig.
Yeah, I remember that, like you said, the UPS man, but he couldn't stop moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hyper shit. Then, years after that, when I kept seeing Phil Lamar, I was always wondering if it was a different Phil Lamar because it didn't sound like the UPS guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's like Mark Hamill. You don't know.
Voices later, yeah, it's all one person.
If you was clueless about Mark Hamill and know nothing about him, you wouldn't think Luke Skywalker and Joker was the same person. You wouldn't think that was the same people.
No, because Luke Skywalker is optimistic and kind, and Joker's completely off his rocker.
Yeah, but the way he do his voice, you can't even tell a hint of that is Mark Hamill.
Could you imagine him delivering the original Star Wars lines as the Joker?
That would be funny as freak.
Obi-Wan Kenobi wouldn't want shit to do with him. He would have left him in the desert. It would be no movie.
So y'all telling me, I'm looking in the chat, there's some robots that have taken over.
I think so. I think one of my mods' account got hacked. The account is no longer in the chat. I'm going to try and remove the account for now from it just in case. I was trying to reach the individual. I can't get a hold of her. I don't know if her computer
is probably having issues right now. But
the way that everybody was being blocked or whatever and timed out, there's no way somebody could humanly possible do that many people that fast. It has to be a bot.
Hey, the bots is getting crazy too, because like every time I make a freaking video now, I look at my comment section and it says, "Hey, you want to be friends?" And I'll be like,
those are bots. Yep.
I'll be like, "Freak you, mother freak! I don't want to be your freaking friend. Quit asking me that. That's creepy. What the freak that look like? I'm. How do I even reply to that? Yes, I want to be your friend."
No, I don't even like those comments.
But I've never had a problem with Sister Hero before, and like I said, I can't reach her right now, oddly enough. So I'm thinking her computer was either completely taken down, or her profile on YouTube might be. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I've never had a problem with her before.
She's always been supportive to everyone.
Exactly. I don't think it was. Yeah, no, I think it was a bot.
I know for me, when they come to them bots, like back in the day when I used to be, heavy into that Pornhub stuff, them bots will take over. They will take over
just
your
back
whole
in the
computer.
day, not anymore, right?
He hates China now.
But have y'all ever thought about like spamware and malware? How do that freaking work? Like, is it people behind malware, or they just want to mess your computer up?
They program that shit, and then it just.
Because sometimes you can get so deep into what you're doing, and then you get that malware on your computer. It's like it messes your stuff up to where it don't even cut on. So, like, is they like taking over your computer, or they just get a kick out of messing your computer up? Like, what the point of a virus?
Usually data mining.
Yeah, usually it's doing a bunch of stuff to distract you while it's collecting all your personal data. Is generally
also what they doing is like trying to take passwords and credit card information and stuff like that.
Yes. And as far as like, there's a big bunch of schemes out there to get a hold of like people's YouTube channels. So like if you hit the wrong email or whatever, you can turn around and give access to your entire YouTube channel to the wrong person, and they can take it over, delete it, do whatever, collect all your money, whatever, change where the money is going, all that stuff. Yeah.
It happened to Toriel. She had her
free to be constantly changing your passwords.
Stig, it happened to who?
Toriel.
Lady Toriel?
Yeah. Her Google account, Twitter.
No wonder she went missing, because you remember I was asking about her.
Yeah, she had to delete everything.
Man, I'm telling you, man, the easiest way is you watching that Pornhub, and then you have to take your whole tower to a computer guy, and then you tell the computer guy, I got malware, and he give you that look like you've been on Pornhub, huh? And it's so embarrassing, you know what I mean?
I know you guys sent some super chats. I'm going to get to them here. I'm just trying to just kind of get. I'm just trying to get everything figured out on my end.
Oh, quit trying to ignore like that ain't never happened to you when you took your tower to that computer repair guy and you get it look like you was downloading music, huh?
Oh no, I'm the one that's usually the computer. I used to be the computer repair guy saying that shit.
Oh, so you didn't have to go to somebody.
Well, I was the receiver guy, but I didn't actually do the shit.
People in the chat is asking me to be friends. I know you're not bots, so yes. I will definitely be your friend.
Yeah, right.
Why can't we be friends?
Okay. I hope everything's okay on Sister Harrow's end. Like again, I said I will try and make sure that never happens again.
Yeah, it was a harrowing experience.
Yeah, so guys, if you ever get like weird emails about your YouTube channel or anything like that, be very leery of what you sign into or allow it to do.
Yeah, and email. Look, this is the way you got to break your shit down. You have to have multiple passwords, right? For all of your social media, you use one password.
Right.
For all of your financials, like credit cards, you use another password. For your bank, you use a third password, and for your email, you use a fourth password. That's the most complicated one.
You're right.
Somebody gets into your email, they have everything.
Because I swear, like, before I knew what you just told me, donkey slaps used to be my password for everything.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
That's what I'm saying. But then it hit me. I said, you know what? 69. If somebody realized like my Twitter password is donkey slaps, they will realize that's my password for everything. And then I'm screwed. So you're right. You got to give your password for each social media, each PayPal, you know?
Yeah, just keep a list.
Okay, so now that I think hopefully everything seems to have calmed down, hopefully Sister Harrow's got everything okay on her end, or she's figuring out something that's happened. Like I said, it happened so fast now that I look at it, and so many people at once. There's no way anybody humanly possible could have done that. Like, there's just no way.
You'd have to be on multiple devices.
Yeah, you'd have to have like 30 arms and multiple devices and all that shit. So I think it was a bot that took over her account. So yeah, definitely people be careful, because it can affect anybody, obviously, not just YouTube channels that are active like ours, but somebody who's just a audience member like yourself could have your entire YouTube channel hacked. So please be careful of that. Larry sent $2. Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks for Mead, Rebel Radio, and this panel. Yeah, I'm going to try some more of that. We'll see how that works out. Try some different times of the day, so the Karen bots don't leave me the fuck alone.
And I'm going to tell y'all something else too. Like on Facebook, it'll be like a real attractive woman, and they'll want you to add them, and then when you add them, the next time you go back to your account, it's a guy on there that look like me to be like this for your profile pic.
That was you?
No, I'm just saying it's always like a stupid picture to end up on your profile, and then you can't get back on there again.
No, those porn bots. Anyway, Deranged Lunatic sent $2. Happy Father's Day to all you mother lovers. Thank you so much, Deranged Lunatic. We appreciate that. And to all the fathers here on the panel and in the audience, happy Father's Day as well. Matt G sent $5. Thank you. Ever hear the theory about the alternate 1985 in Back to the Future is similar to the Watchmen universe? I think I've seen some of those videos that you're referring to where it's like the question is are you talking about the ones, Matt, where it starts off where basically the version of Marty that we see in the beginning of the movie is not the first Marty to go back in time? Is that the ones you're talking about? Because for him to be in that position where he's at then, he had to have gone back once before, changed things once before, and then the second time we see him going back is the time where he got everything right, basically. Is kind of
I'm gonna tell you, Back to the Future did get it right though with time travel, because when Marty went back in the second movie to when his mom and dad was young, remember he saw himself. And I always thought that was excellent, because then when you look at Endgame didn't do that. Marvel Endgame. Because think about it. Remember at the end, he was old. It was an old Captain America. It would still be another version of him out there. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I love Back to the Future, because it really shows how it would look if you go back in time.
What do you think, Stieg? Have you seen any of those videos?
No, I don't think so.
Steve don't watch nothing but Star Wars, and I'm talking about the original trilogy.
Yeah, that's the only 3 movies I own. Those and Police Academy 4.
Who is that? Is somebody lighting up a doobie or something? I hear the match.
That's probably Jesse.
I have no idea.
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? I got so Scooby Dooby. I see what you did there, Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Scooby snacks, huh? I call them edibles.
You know what? First,
why did Scooby always have? Why did he always have the munchies? You got to think about that.
Look at him.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at him.
How the freak you gonna make a hamburger this freaking tall, smash it together, and then eat it? That's munchies, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And they think about some weird stuff to eat, like marshmallow pizza and all that type of stuff. That's the munchies.
When you got a sandwich, a big tall hoagie, and all of a sudden there's just the entire whole fish with a tail and a head on it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you thinking?
And then think about it. They hunting ghosts, but the only ones that was really scared was Shaggy and School, because they was already paranoid from the weed that they were smoking. See, you got Freddie, Thelma, and what was the other one? Daphne. They didn't smoke, but Shaggy and Scooby did. So when they see them freaking ghosts, they get scared, man. And that's why they don't understand, if you're smoking that much weed, why would you be hunting ghosts all day? But I forgot too, they didn't have jobs or ambitions in life. You know what I mean?
You ever hear the theory that the original Scooby-Doo show was them trying to draft dodge and make their way to Canada?
I could did that because they didn't have official jobs. And did they ever get paid? Because every time I see the mystery band,
glad you went there, because yes, in the original show, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? They never asked for money. I don't know if they ever received anything, but they never asked for anything. But later on in the new Scooby-Doo shows that were still from the 70s and 80s, there was like one where Shaggy and Fred had to go to a construction site and get jobs because they were out of money. Yeah. And then there was, of course, a monster there. There's a phantom or something. But yeah, they did add it in different points where they're out of money. Which doesn't make sense, because if you take all of Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo is really hard because there's so many different shows. But if you take it all as one canon, you'd have to go from they were kids in a pup named Scooby-Doo, and then they went to Mystery Incorporated as teenagers, that newer show, and then that brought them back to the original series, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And then it progressed naturally from there.
And you know what? They did Thelma so freaking bad. Thelma was the only one solving the freaking case. She was the only one smart. Because if you notice, like Fred and Daphne, Fred would be like, Daphne, you come with me. And then Scooby and Shaggy would go together, but then they would leave Thelma on her own, and Thelma was the one solving the case. And it was sad because Thelma, she would solve the case. Yep. Scooby and Shaggy would go off and smoke and then eat munchies. And then you have Fred and Daphne getting it on.
Yeah, well, he's the leader.
That was the whole basis of the show.
That's just the thing, Jay. It's that Fred gets out there, he gives them the orders, right? So then they split up. So Shaggy and Scooby, yeah, they are going to go smoke and eat, but they always inadvertently find clues. So they bring that back to Velma, right? Velma is the detective. The only reason that Daphne is there, besides the girlfriend figure, is to get in trouble and get kidnapped and such that they have to go looking for or something.
Man, I'm trying to tell you though, when you watch Fred is banging Daphne. It's always the team. Remember when they always go investigate?
He never sends Shaggy away with.
Why do Fred never link up with Velma, or why do Fred never link up with Scooby? You always notice it's
Velma started out as being straight, and then she turned gay, I think.
Well, guys, Steve's got to go here real soon, and I wanted to play this video real quick. I'd like him to see it too if he wants to stick around. So, did you have a few more minutes, Steve?
Steve don't even talk.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're constantly talking, Jay.
Well, I gotta go. I do talk too much, but I gotta go too, like Steve.
I'm kidding, man. Get back here. You got to see this video. I brought it up for you.
No, I know you're kidding. I know you were joking. I do talk too much, but seriously, I do got to go in like 10 minutes.
That's fine. I just wanted to play this. I brought this up for you, but I wanted all you guys to see.
Yeah,
this. This is funny shit. Yeah. This is Thomas Wilson, the guy who plays Biff.
When I'm flying in a plane or I'm on the street, there's a lot of friendly people that I like to meet. They shake my hand but never ask my name, and they start asking questions that are always the same. Hey, what's Michael J. Fox like? He's nice. What's Christopher Lloyd like? Kind of quiet. What's Crispin Glover like? Unusual. Stop asking me the question. I went to the bar mitzvah of my nephew Josh. Now I'm not Jewish, but I like to nosh. Put on my yarmulke, started to pray. When the rabbi leaned over and I heard him say, hey, was that real manure? No, it wasn't. How was that DeLorean? A piece of garbage. Do those hoverboards
really
fly? It's a movie. Stop asking me the question. Can we take your picture? Come on, look mean. Would you call my friend a butthead on his answering machine? Questions fill my head. I went to my doctor. My doctor said, what does a key grip do? Set up lights. What does the best boy do? Help the key grip. What does a producer do? I don't know. Stop asking me the question. Do you all hang out together? No, we don't.
That man talented.
Glover? I never talked to him before. Not happening. Stop asking me the question. Hey, who's the nicest famous guy you know? Adam Sandler. Who is the biggest jerk? Gary Busey. How much money do you make? More than you do. Stop asking me the question.
I love that. You guys ever see that?
He never talked to Crispin Glover though.
Oh, they don't probably.
Or he's a piece of garbage.
Hey, what was the deal with Crispin Glover though? Like,
he was a victim in Friday the 13th, the final chapter part.
Well, Steve has to get going, so we'll let him go, and then I'll tell that story.
Hi, Steve.
Steve, why don't you tell the folks out there about the channel that you don't want people to watch?
He said he don't make videos.
Yes, he does.
Steve, do you make videos?
I just now and again, like every 6 months.
Then you don't make videos. Every
I don't
6
know.
to 12 months.
I only do a couple because Tom nags me about it.
Who?
You should say biannual.
Hey, I literally watched a video of yours and you was talking about a freaking banana for 10 minutes.
What? We didn't talk about any banana.
I was gonna say most of his videos you could watch all of them in 10 minutes. Yeah.
Maybe I have been smoking a little bit, but I could have sworn you was talking about 10 things that make people happy, and one of them was a banana.
Oh, that might be.
Oh, yeah, I might have done that.
See?
Yeah.
But not for 10 minutes.
I had no, more like 4 seconds. Anyway, tiny YouTube channel. It's just something I do for nonsense, really. But I don't know. Go sub to Sporking News Squad podcast or Christy or Mary Mayhem. I don't know. They're professionals.
Go get that face reveal.
I put Steeg's link in the chat. Do not click it. He may come and find you and call you.
I dare you not to click the Steeg Kenobi's link because you will regret it.
But if you get him up to like 400 subscribers, he might make me another video.
If you get Steeg to 400, I'm taking off my shirt and I'm going to play with my boobies.
Don't sub to my channel, people.
Yeah, because then that means he's got to make a video.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you for having me on, and thank you to the chat, who's great as always, and thank you to Jesse and Fatal for being good company.
Steve, before you leave, can you blow me up, Tom? I got something to tell to Steve. I want you to know that you're my hero, and you are the wing beneath my wing.
Now I owe Bette Midler $4. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Fiddle J.
You don't know her shit.
Black Phoenix is
anyway, take care and be well, and have a great day, all of you.
Thanks for coming in, Steve.
Prosper.
Hopefully you get some rest, brother. Take care.
I posted a picture on Twitter with this girl. She was from a Darth Vader statue, and she was doing this.
All right, what was your question then, Jay, about the whole you were asking about Crispin Glover? Okay, Crispin Glover is a strange cat, okay?
No, this is what I'm asking. He wasn't in none of the Back to the Future 2, but it was some controversy about him still being in that movie.
Okay, well,
in the final cut.
Well, what happened was he would not come back for the sequels because he didn't get along with Bob Gale.
Who is Bob Gale?
He's one of the producers and writers.
Okay.
And he didn't come back, but they had another actor come in and play his part, and they used footage from the first Back to the Future for his part.
When you say when they use footage, did they do CGI or something?
No, they just used footage from the first movie.
But they use footage without his consent?
Technically, yes. He is the reason now that you have to pay somebody and credit them and specify that it is from another movie, because he felt like he was wronged by and in a way he was right by feeling like the filmmakers tricked people into thinking he was in the
firing
movie.
Up right here live on live stream.
He does that all the time. He's a rebel, and he'll never ever be any good.
Jesse, you just became the coolest guy in the world.
Jesse has no
A lot of people don't know that you could do that on YouTube.
Jesse has no fucks to give, literally, like none.
I used to, and then
Oh, you made me forget. And Tom was giving me some good information.
But anyway, so like Crispin Glover sued them, okay, and he won the suit. And he won the suit, and from then on, he basically, that's why anybody who's in a movie that's from a previous film and it's previous footage, they have to be credited, and it has to specify they're from that said film. Plus, they have to be paid for it. So
okay, yeah. Now you got to slow down. You know I'm a simple man, Tom. Now he didn't get credit for being in Back to the Future 2.
Not technically, no.
Then they wrong for that. They was wrong for that, most definitely. They was wrong.
Well, because he technically wasn't. It was just previously shot footage from the first film.
Yeah, but
there's another actor playing.
That teaches everybody just have the guy back to do the part.
So back to the Future 2, the footage that we saw with him, they already filmed that during Back to the Future 1.
Yeah, because you're only seeing the only time you see Crispin Glover in Back to the Future 2 is in the background.
So
other times it's a stand-in. It's somebody else.
So Robert Zemeckis, he pretty much knew that this movie was going to be hot.
Oh, he had to have. It's good.
Well, at that time, the Actors Guild had to get involved and stuff like that. It was a big mess. It's something that nobody had ever done before, so it was kind of like, yeah, you could kind of say that Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale were kind of being underhanded in a way, but at the same time, Crispin Glover wanted. Here was why he wasn't in the movie. He said he would be in the movie, but he wanted as much as Michael J. Fox. That was why they told him no. He says that's not true. I don't know what the true story is.
Now, along with what Matt is saying, didn't they make a new actor look like Glover?
That's the problem. Is they had another guy in there in makeup.
Wasn't it just like him, doing some walk-by shots though, where the face?
He's only in the background, and then the only other time he's in the movie proper is in old makeup, and when he's upside down.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a different actor.
So that's not him.
That's not Crispin Glover. No,
I always thought that was him.
Nope, and this man will confirm this for me. Yeah, that's. Did you hear what I just said, Script Doctor? Or are you just finally getting in here?
I just finally getting in here. What's going on, guys?
Okay,
how's everybody doing?
Fatal was asking about the whole Crispin Glover mess with Back to the Future 2. I said, yeah, they had another actor play him in the future, and they used a stand-in. Outside of that, they used footage, and Crispin Glover sued them after the fact, and he's the reason now why you have to specify when somebody's in a movie in old footage and stuff like that, plus pay for him being in there, even though it's old footage and stuff like that. Likeness rights and stuff like that. Yeah.
The other thing they also did is they took a face mold of Crispin Glover and used that as makeup for the replacement actor in the future scenes.
Wow.
That's creepy.
Yeah, well, because they used his face mold from the first film in order to age him up.
I could
so
see
they took a mold of his head.
But if you look at the second film, you could tell something is off. You could tell something.
That's because it's a different actor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different actor, and they used his original mold to age up the actor to be 80 or 90 in the future scenes.
If you do that these days, can you get sued for that, for taking somebody's likeness?
If you don't pay them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reason was that movie. That's why that is that way. Because didn't the Screen Actors Guild get involved in shit too?
The Screen Actors Guild got involved. The unions for makeup department got involved. Because Crispin Glover, my understanding was that his role in the sequel was going to be a little bit bigger. And,
they had to change the script. Yeah, because you sent me the
speculation. This is before they wrote it, because the first script, the first idea that they were pitching around was that it was going to be Marty and his father again in the sequel. They didn't write it yet. Crispin Glover asked for more money because he assumed he would be like a main character like he was in the first film, and basically Gale and Zemeckis said, "No, I don't think we can do that." And so they literally wrote a sequel where Marty's dad is gone for 90% of the movie. He goes back to the 70s and he hangs out with his mom for most of it, trying to get everything in order so that his dad can come back and conceive Marty at this point.
And that's probably why they killed him. That's probably why they killed him in Back to the Future too.
Well, that's exactly why they did.
Yeah, that's exactly why they killed him in the sequel part.
The 80s casino weird Biff instead of a weird 70s.
But yeah, the original Back to the Future 2 script is pretty cool. It involves involves a canyon and I think a hydroelectric plant that they have to hit with the DeLorean in order to get back to the present.
So if Crispin Glover, let's say if he didn't have any beef with anybody, then Back to the Future 3 probably wouldn't be in the Western type thing.
No, probably still would have. It probably still would have been Crispin Glover as the husband again.
Yeah, that's the only change that probably would have been.
See, a lot of people shit on Back to the Future Part 3, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun.
I remember when it came out, more people liked 3 than 2. See, I remember when 2 came out, a lot of people hated 2.
Script Doctor, you right. Instead of Michael J. Fox being the ancestor, it probably would have been Crispin Glover, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd have been the only change, definitely. Yeah.
And the picture of, I guess, the uncle that got killed for being called a chicken or whatever would have been just a still image of Marty McFly's in that one. Because they flipped it in the in the actual film, if I recall correctly. I think they used like a stock photo of someone that looked similar to Crispin Glover to be
I'm trying to
the uncle
remember.
that
It's
died.
been a little while since I watched it too, but no, from what I remember, Back to the Future 2 changed a lot because of that. Matt G sent another $2. MCU must have provisions for archival footage. Oh yeah, nowadays you get all kinds of
facial
permission
scan,
for
man.
that and all that kind of stuff.
I know y'all going to hate me for saying
that?
this, but they're coming out with a Back to the Future reboot, and it's going to have Tom Holland as Marty McFly.
Nah, that won't happen.
I don't. That's not happening.
You know,
The
now, especially now with that music, didn't the musical flop too in Broadway or whatever?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. What happened there was that it was incredibly dangerous, and there was a lot of accidents on stage during performances. And then
it was in England, wasn't it, or not Broadway? It was over in the UK, I think it was.
Like on the West End.
I can't remember.
I'm telling you guys, I have the biggest theory, and it's a pattern. If you look at the algorithm, and I just made that up to sound cool, but big blockbuster movies in the 80s and the 90s are all getting rebooted. And I'm telling you, Back to the Future is going to be one of them. You're not going to believe me. I know you're going to say. You're going to say
Zemeckis dies and Gale dies, then yeah.
Yeah, just so you don't think I'm making shit up here. This is real.
Oh, thank you, Nina.
Oh, cool.
But what Jay was saying, like about Tom Holland being in a reboot, I think that was funny because I always wanted to see Michael J. Fox, a young Michael J. Fox, in a modern movie playing Spider-Man. Made an excellent Spider-Man.
Yeah, he would have. He got that build. You know what I mean? That little tiny build.
Yep.
And he jokes.
And he's funny as shit.
But do you really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man? Just be honest. Do you like him?
He's good enough, but he's a little bland.
He is something missing, ain't it?
Yeah, you
like I haven't heard people say, "Damn, Tom Holland is a good Spider-Man." You know what I mean? I just hear people say, "Yeah, he's all right, he's good," but it's not
It doesn't give himself the pseudo confidence though. The stuff that Spider-Man does, but the pseudo confidence, we don't get that from Tom Holland. You could actually tell from him that he's kind of like worried and concerned all the time, and
he
insecure even with his powers.
You just nailed it on the head. He too insecure and worried about what people think, and I know that's what teenagers do. But Spider-Man is a tad bit different in that world.
Yeah, I mean, what does a geek do when they realize they can actually beat up the bully in front of them? They get cocky.
Yeah, you're gonna beat his butt. That's like Marty McFly when he was in Teen Wolf. Whenever he got them wolf powers, man, he was dunking on the bully, doing all type of crazy stuff.
Yeah, got the testosterone flowing.
He was growling at people, eyes turning red and stuff, man. Like, if I had powers like Spider-Man, you would not have any money left in your bank account.
Spider-Man dropped out of the building and he kicked the shit out of the entire X-Men team.
That's what I'm saying. Spider-Man is supposed to be the leader of the MCU.
He's strong as shit.
Not Tony Stark's, not none of those freakers. Spider-Man is always looked as the Superman or the Batman of Marvel.
Jay, if you haven't read this book, you got to order it off of online. But there's a book called The Physics of Superheroes, and that
sounds dope.
Oh, I've read that. Okay.
There's the physics of superheroes and there's the physics of Star Trek. They're both fun, but you'll read them real quick because they're just entertaining.
I've been reading a lot of books lately. I'm reading the one book called Credit is King. No, I don't know if anybody is very interesting about things you can do with credit cards. And that's I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Credit is let it fly. Whose debt is it?
Well, think about it. Let me tell you what I've been reading this book, and it's deep. It's deep because we've been told all the time credit cards are bad. Credit card equals debt. But think about it. That greenback that you have in your wallet, that's a debt note. That's a death note that's backed up by nothing. I'm telling you, if you read that book.
Oh, he's right to a point. I get where you're coming from because I've been learning a lot in the last few.
Yeah.
It's I've
been reading a lot of books about just money.
Well, I've been raised like that. Like, stay away from credit cards. All they'll do is put you in debt and blah, 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 blah. Well, now I'm learning I have no credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, the richest people on earth use credit all the time. They never use their own money. That's how they get rich, because they don't use their money.
Yeah, but you know what it is too? It's like I have good credit. I think I'm 751 right now. So
you right where I'm at. We almost at 800. We can get anything we want right now.
Yeah, pretty much. But the reason that somebody's willing to give you whatever you want is because they know that you don't need to borrow the money.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, you when you really learn, if you get out of that mode of your parents saying credit cards are evil, if you just open up your mind and really learn about how to do that, because I look at credit cards like this. Credit cards can be like playing with fire. If you don't know what you're doing with it, it'll burn you to freak up. But you can also use fire to warm your house. You can use fire to warm your food. You have to learn how to use that fire. If you can't use it, don't mess with it. But once you learn how to use fire, there's many benefits you can do with it. And I'm sorry for going on all these tangents about crazy stuff, but I always have fun on Tom's channel.
It also helps if you maintain a job while you have a credit card. That's the other part too.
Yes.
So people
the chat froze on my end, so I'm just going to throw it up here, guys. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Tom, I want to thank you, man. Tom, I want to thank you because I learned how to put video clips because of you. And I'm not trying to be the braggy type guy, but it's been setting a trend with other channels too. They was asking me, how do you do that? How did you put your video clips on StreamYard? And I said, Tom was the first person doing that. Now I didn't even know you could put your freaking live chat on the screen too. How the freak you do that?
Just share it as you can share either a Windows applications or whatever. If you look at the share tabs on your StreamYards, you actually have 3 choices, not just one. And you can go in specifically share specific things or your entire screen or all that.
But I got a live stream tonight. I'm just gonna leave the chat up on the main screen and freak and just blow people's minds.
Right.
Tom, you are a smart guy, man.
I don't know about that.
Yes, you are.
Okay, we got that super chat. I'm gonna say I just making sure I didn't miss anybody's super chat since my chat wanted to freeze up on me. Again, I apologize earlier. Hopefully, Sister Harrow's okay. I did take away the wrench for now until we find out what the hell's going on. I have not been able to get a contact with her. So if anybody does know how to get in contact with her, please let her know that I am trying to talk to her to find out what exactly happened. Because I'm assuming her computer got a virus or her
she probably got hacked, man. That happened to Demagin at one time. Like it was a person in his stream, and that person literally covered the whole stream up with his comments, and it was the same comment.
Well, and I've noticed lately with now YouTube not being as regulated by people since the whole COVID thing and all that crap. It's so easy to get shit shut down. It's so easy to flag things. It's part of the reason why I think
the internet has been shit lately. Activity.
I think that's part of the reason I have so many trouble with Mead Radio, because it'll keep going down, but then it'll go back up. So if it wouldn't go back up, then it would tell me obviously something's wrong. When people do karaoke streams and stuff like that, they don't have a problem. It doesn't make sense. I can go for 8 hours, not have a problem, but then can't go for 2 hours another day and just keep getting shut down. I'm starting to notice certain patterns, and when certain people who show up who I've never seen before seem to mention certain things in the chat, I'm paying attention. So don't worry about that. But yeah, no, I mean, this is Sunday Funday though. I'm just happy to have a bunch of friends here hanging out with me, and including you guys out there in the chat, of course, because if it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't do this. But yeah, so.
And I just want to extend a happy Father's Day to you, Tom, because I know you're a dad, and everyone else in the panel and in the chat. If you have a father, of course you do, but like whether they're passed or not, and they were one of your role models growing up, right?
I'm a stepfather. I don't have any biological kids of my own, but I am a father.
You are a father, absolutely.
You're putting in the work.
Exactly,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
He getting big too. He 13.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
Better buy twice as much food for the next 5 years.
Every time I walk in the room, I have to tell him, man, what is that you watching? It look like they about to get naked. Turn it off.
Or learn something from it. That's what you say. Turn it off or learn something from
it.
Man,
and you know what? You got to watch the cartoons, man, because I was watching this cartoon called
Furry Lover.
No, it's called Titans. Some Titans with Gennady Tartakovsky. That's the guy that made Samurai Jack. And I was just simply watching it on Netflix, and then all of a sudden, this cheerleader girl was dancing in front of this nerd because she was trying to get him to do her homework for her, and she started shaking her butt in front of him.
And did he do it?
And it was and it was pretty good because I caught myself drooling, and I was like, "Hold on, this is a cartoon. This is a cartoon. This should not be on this show.
Why is this a cartoon?
What are they exposing to these children these days, man?
A little bit of everything."
Well, there's not really. Is there a parental block on Netflix? Because I don't think there is one.
Yeah, there might be.
Exactly.
I got one on
I
mine.
never had the need to explore it yet. So
I know like certain other ones have like family version thing where you can flip it on. Like we were talked about that when the whole Back to the Future business happened, with that weird cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's some because like Voodoo, I know, and I think a couple other places have it to where you just flip it on and it just digitally edits out things that, and sometimes it catches weird things because it's obviously a bot that's doing it or an algorithm that's doing it, because sometimes just words that sound harsh it'll take out that aren't even really swear words.
They go on by the rating too of the movie. And DCV Titan and Tekka Man Blade, you're right. The TV show is called Symbiotic Titan. And the cheerleader girl, she was shaking her butt in front of the guy to get.
So is this a show you recommend, Jay?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a deep fan of Gennady Tartakovsky because he do Samurai Jack. He did the first Clone Wars. The first Clone Wars, I love that one.
Yeah, I've got the 2 DVD set of that.
Yeah, he did Dexter's Laboratory. He did the Samurai Jack, the rated R version to close out the saga. Mm-hmm. He's pretty good. I recommend it, but don't let your kids. I don't know. It depends on the. I say if your kids was 14, 15, they can watch it.
The fact that you care that much, though, Jay, it says a lot as a dad.
Yeah, man. I already know if he go out in the world, he gonna be exposed to everything. At least at home, he can be sheltered a little bit.
Well, you don't need a shelter. You just need to prep. That's the thing, right? People conflate protection with preparation.
What you mean prep? Like have him watch some stripper videos or something?
I mean, whatever you think would work best to prepare them for.
No, because I don't already had that talk with him. I don't already have that talk, that awkward talk where you say, well, your body is going through some changes and you're going to want to do some stuff like visit certain websites and you shouldn't do that right now.
Remember when you didn't have to really worry too much about if your kid was going to get a hold of some kind of porn, it was either your fault
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Dad's fault. You know what I mean?
I got exposed.
So slim.
I got exposed at 12 years old because I had an uncle with a big giant VHS collection, and he had moved back in with my grandmother, which is his mother. And I don't know where he was at the time. He was gone for like a whole week, and I was bored. And my thing was going to VHS rental stores like Blockbuster and buying stuff. But my mom didn't take me that day. So I had an idea in my head. I said,
I found 5,000 hours of porn.
I said, my uncle, he got all that big box of VHSs. Why don't I just go in there and just see what he got? So I asked my grandmother what it's okay. She said, sure. So I went in there and got about 10 VHSs. Now everything was going smooth. Like he had Will Smith Independence Day and Men in Black. But then I came across this blank VHS. So I popped in that VHS and my 12-year-old mind world, whatever you want, reality, it changed because I saw some things that I shouldn't be seeing, but I was enjoying myself.
Well, of course. You're at the right age. I found my dad's Playboy collection at 5, so I was like, had no idea what I stumbled across.
That's not the end of the story, Tom.
I'm listening.
So a week later, my uncle, he asked me. He came to my house because I lived on the same land as my grandmother, and he said, "Have you seen my VHS tapes?" And I said, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you leave me alone?" And I slammed the door in his face. And guess what I did? I started watching that VHS tape again.
I don't know you no more.
What did he say?
I think in the back of his mind, he knew I had that tape, but he didn't want to embarrass himself by saying, "Do you have my porn VHS?"
So he didn't ever say nothing about it. Huh?
No, it's just
another one.
And I think to this very day, he's still a little bit mad at me.
Well, probably because you took. You know how much those tapes were back in the day?
No.
They were expensive as shit.
Well, Tom, it looked like he had dubbed it from somebody because
it's very plausible.
I'm gonna tell you who was in it. You gonna laugh. You gonna laugh.
Well, that or he was pissed because he had some good shit in it.
Tom, you gonna laugh when I tell you who was in it. You know that dude with the curly hair? I think they call him Jeremy. Ron Jeremy.
Like Ron Jeremy.
Chances are, if Ron Jeremy, you got the odds of Ron Jeremy being in a porn are pretty damn good.
I was like, how was this guy with this girl?
Money.
He's Ron Jeremy. That and he's like had the biggest cock in porno, man.
Because his dick was 10 inches long. That's not.
Well, on that note, guys, I got to get out of here.
Take care. Take care, Fatal J.
But before I leave, Tom.
Yes, sir.
I got a Japanese riddle for you, sir.
What's that?
What do you say when you want to get a ninja off your live stream?
Ninja, vanish.
Right.
Take care. Check out Fatal J's channel. He's killing it right now. With all his reporting. Rosetta Allen, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Money makes the gold digger go round. That it does indeed. Ron Jeremy with lethal weapons. Oh, jeez. Oh, balls. Here we go. All right, guys. What do you say we almost call this a day? I know you just got here not too long ago, Script, but we've been going now for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not a problem. It's all right. It was all good. Lots of fun tonight. So
yeah, it's already almost 5:30 here. Other than that, though, how was your day though? Since you just got here.
Oh, it was pretty good. Was on the Zoom meeting with my girlfriend and her dad because he's way up north. So yeah, we spent a couple hours just talking and shooting the shit, doing the Father's Day stuff remotely, which was weird, but fun. Yeah, that's basically what I did. When that was done, she went back to catching up on her work, and I came home and saw, oh, an alert, you guys are on. All right, cool, I'll hop on. It'll be fun.
Oh, all right. This is weird. I don't know how I feel about this.
What?
I don't know if I should show it because I'll probably get a copyright strike, but I'll show it anyway. Fuck it. I don't know what this is. You might know Dynamo Dream. You ever heard of this? I mean, the effects evidently are all right, but
it's not bad.
Considering how where it was shot or whatever.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
I just never heard of it.
People get damn creative with that. How hard is the programming new background? What's the problem?
I'm gonna turn it down a little bit here. You ever hear of this thing? You know anything about it, Script?
Dynamo Dream? No.
Just,
is it like a movie or is it just the technique?
I have no idea.
I've seen this technique a dozen times at least.
Is it? I was gonna say, is this that live action like?
No, this is nothing like that.
No.
The live action thing is basically it looks like a lot more like projector screens that are actually playing in real time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's all right. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it. Huh.
It's pretty good.
It's a tech demo, says Jay Bluff. Was shot in 2008. Okay.
Pretty cool.
But all right. Well, I found that on the Twitters. Dynamo Dream. All right.
That's pretty
Check
cool.
that out, I guess. So yeah, let's go around the horn. Script. Tell them a little bit about your channel, what you do, and all that good stuff.
I'm the Script Doctor. When I'm not writing, I'm reviewing and analyzing film and television on my channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor. I also have the honor of being able to stream with The Midnight's Edge After Dark and a bunch of other channels like Bounding into Comics and Supreme Heretics. So follow me on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD to find out where I might be and join in on the fun.
That or you can follow the link I just threw in the chat there and get over there and subscribe. He needs 1,000 subscribers at least.
No, I don't. I'm happy to have anyone who wants to watch my content.
All right. Well, and Jesse, tell them a little bit about your stuff there. You need to get up there too. You only got like 600 here too. It looks like.
Yep.
You do. Have you been doing any new stuff lately outside of streaming, or it looks like you got a PlayStation video? And
I should do a couple little short videos about just stupid shit. Like
yeah, you haven't done one of those in a while.
But I am going to do a stream tomorrow. I'm trying to do talk about stuff that I think is fun lately instead of all these current events that are altogether no good. So last time I did a character overview of Roger from American Dad, and I think tomorrow I'm going to do Randy from South Park. But yeah, just have fun, play a bunch of clips, goof around, give an overview, all the different stuff.
Yeah, you have a couple like little short interviews and other things like that on there, and some other stuff I've seen on there. You do some cool stuff, a lot of random stuff, kind of.
Yeah, I'm completely random plus gaming when I get around to sitting down and playing a video game.
Yeah, you do a lot of gaming, I noticed.
Yeah, whenever I game, I live stream it. So
there you go. So if you're into games and all that kind of stuff, check Jesse's channel out. And of course, I can't recommend Script Doctor enough. He does all kinds of great stuff over there as well. And of course, check out our other guests like Stieg and Fatal J as well. And till next time, I think tomorrow afternoon we'll have a regular show. So we'll see you then. Take care, everybody, and have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one.
Just when you think this show is terrible, something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.